Was good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
KCUB Tucson and Cumulus Media Station.
You're listening to the home of the best coverage of your Arizona Diamondbacks and Major League Baseball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Tuesday afternoon to you. Welcome to the show. So glad you could be with us on another hot day in the desert, but the temperatures are starting to calm down as we get closer to our first day football game of the season this Saturday when the Colorado Buffaloes come to town for homecoming 2024. Wildcats and Buffalo. So I was looking at, and I'll reiterate what I've said, that I think the backside of this schedule is very favorable for the Arizona Wildcats in the second half of the season. At the beginning of the year, I had them going 5-1. You know, the dynamics of the league have changed since the opening of the season. Some of the teams we thought were pretty good are not as good, and some of the things that were thought were going to be bad or turned out to be better than expected, i.e. BYU and ASU. 6 games, though, remain on this schedule. Right now, 3 of the 6 teams Arizona will play are sitting above them in the Big 12, and 3 of the teams that Arizona will play are sitting below them in the Big 12. The question, obviously, is the number one goal coming into the season for this Arizona football team was to win or at least get into the Big 12 championship, because then you've got a shot at going into the playoff. There's a possibility you get into the Big 12 or get into the college football playoff, not getting into the Big 12 championship game, but that's probably a lot slimmer for teams not in the SEC or the Big Ten, which is obviously going to want to control this whole thing. I mean, your best opportunity to get into playoff is to win the Big 12 championship. And your only way to win the Big 12 championship is to get one of those 2 spots at the top and get into the Big 12 championship game. So I went back and I said, well, this is our first year in this league, so what's it likely going to take to get into the Big 12 championship game? Last year it was Texas and Oklahoma State. The top 3 teams last year were Texas, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma. Texas finished 8-1 in conference play. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State finished 7-2. Oklahoma State had the tiebreaker over Oklahoma. They went to the Big 12 championship game where they lost to Texas. So if you're looking at 7-2 being the number that it's going to take to get into the Big 12 championship game, what does your U-High math tell you?
It's gonna be a little bit rough.
A little bit rough.
It's going to be a little bit rough in order to go ahead and get to that actual number. And not to mention, DK, just because you win the Big 12 doesn't necessarily mean you get into the college football playoff either.
Well,
I don't think it guarantees it.
They're pretty much. Well, I don't know that it guarantees it, but they've pretty much said that they're not going to deny either any of the conference champions out of this thing.
But if I had to go ahead and ask you again, what's the team that leads the conference right now in the Big 12?
Well, I believe it's BYU.
It's BYU.
Right.
Do you know where BYU currently sits? in the top 25.
Well, they were. I didn't see whether they were 14. So what are they? Maybe up to 12?
No, they're 13.
13. Okay.
They don't even make the top 12 seeds to get into the college football playoff. The only Big 12 team currently in position to be in the college football playoff, if the season were to end today, based on the rankings.
Well, yeah.
Based on the rankings.
Okay, based on the
Iowa
rankings.
State is the only one that makes it.
Right.
That's the only Big 12 school that makes it.
So I think what will happen with this is that you'll find the rankings will be based, in my opinion, will be based on how it all fleshes out in the end. So your Big 12 champion is going to be in that mix to be ranked to get into this thing. Yes, right now that's not the case. But at the end, I think whoever wins the Big 12 will be fine. They'll be in that mix for a seed. I'd be hard pressed to think that that's not going to happen. That the Big 12 would not get at least their champion in the mix for the college football playoff. Now, again, a second team, maybe not. But the first team to me is definitely going to be in, regardless of what happens at the end of the year. So basically, if you're looking at 7-2 being the platform to get you in, that means Arizona has to win out because they are 1-2 right now with 6 games left. You look at that and you're like, oh boy, that's a difficult mountain to climb. I said 5-1, and I still believe 5-1 is what they can do down the stretch. And then I start looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, they can win all 6 of these games. It's not impossible. It's not like any of these teams. I mean, the game I had them losing was at TCU. That was the loss that I had in the second half of the season. And if you ask me right now, do I think they can go into Dallas and win that game? Is that where TCU is? I don't even know. Can they go into TCU and win that game? Absolutely. Absolutely, they can go in and win that game.
Well, the way TCU's playing this season, absolutely
right.
They can.
Yeah. So so winning 6 in a row, going on a run similar to what we saw last year with this team that was sitting at 3-3 at this point of the season is not even close to being impossible. It's very, very possible.
It's not
very, very doable.
It's not impossible, but it would be considerably improbable because that's the level that we have to view. Is like, yeah, no, this team did finish out the year strong last season. We think back to the way it was 3-3, and then they ended up going on a bit of a run. This is a little bit more of a different animal when you look in context of the schedule they had last season versus the schedule they have this year. Again, they're playing host to Colorado, and then afterwards they're playing West Virginia, who, let's be honest, West Virginia hasn't necessarily been the most dominant Big 12 team, but they've had a couple of games where they played some really good squads close.
Right.
I mean, they almost handed Iowa State their first loss on the year last week. And then when you look after that quick 2-game homestand, that's the game that I'm nervous about. That journey out to Orlando to play UCF, and that's going to be very, very rough, I think, on terms of the travel schedule. I want to see how that team responds being all the way on the East Coast time zone. Anyone who's never really had to do those quick West Coast to East Coast red liners and all that
red
stuff.
Eyes.
The red eyes. You're not used to that sudden change because we complain about late kickoffs here, DK. A late kickoff over there is an afternoon kickoff here. So that's going to throw someone's entire their when the body is ready to compete and it has to change based on a time zone, it really messes you up. There's a funky feeling to that.
Especially if the flight gets messed up like it did to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are a lot of things that can go up there and cause a little bit of a trickiness to it. But then, again, with the last couple of games of the season, again, you got the 2 Texas schools in Houston and at TCU, which they will be over in TCU to play that game. And then you finally end the season with the Territorial Cup. So there's a chance they go on a run here, no doubt about it. But these 2 teams that they have at home are no slouches. And that road trip to UCF is going to be a real challenge for them. So these next 3 games are going to be a big sell on where this team is at physically and mentally to get that final season push to put themselves in position for a Big 12 championship potential appearance.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Audio Bob is flying the plane for the first time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope he does not crash the plane.
Oh, we're good. We're good with Bob. I trust Bob.
Audio Bob's over there. J-Dub with the afternoon off, and so he is in the control seat, pushing all the buttons, making sure that we're level and no turbulences is on the horizon. All of that is in the hands of Audio Bob today. So if you hear anything go crazy, call him, not me. A lot to get to today on a usually packed Tuesday. We're going to break down Arizona football as we always do with Glenn Howe, UVA football class of 1985. That's coming up at 5:20. You'll hear from the offensive play caller, Matt Atkins, the passing game coordinator and tight ends coach for the Arizona Wildcats. He spoke today at the press conference. We will hear from Matt Atkins and what he had to say. We're going to talk some hockey today. Jonathan Schaefer, the new voice of the Tucson Roadrunners, is going to join us. The Roadrunners are throwing a party tomorrow night. A gala, or do you pronounce it a gala? Maybe that should be our question of the day. Is it gala or is it gala? How do you pronounce? I pronounce it a gala.
I say gala.
You say gala. How about you, Audio Bob? What do you normally call it? Is it a gala or
Definitely
a gala?
gala.
A gala. Okay, so we got 3 votes for gala right there. The Roadrunners are throwing a gala tomorrow night at the Tucson Arena, Tucson Civic Center, to celebrate this 9th season of AHL hockey here in the Old Pueblo. We will take the show to the TCC tomorrow from 3 to 6 as your lead-in to the Tucson Roadrunners. I think they're calling it the Face-Off Gala this year. So looking forward to that. We'll talk a lot of hockey tomorrow on the show. Jonathan will join us today. We'll get his thoughts on opening weekend. The Utah Hockey Club lost yesterday, their first loss of the season, after starting the season with 3 consecutive wins. So only 37 more to go to get to that coveted 40 number that has been so elusive to that franchise during their time here in Arizona. But we'll get Jonathan's thoughts on the kids that are down here in Tucson and how they played this weekend. They split their opening series over in Colorado, losing on opening night Friday, but bouncing back with a win 4-2 on Saturday. So we'll hear from Jonathan Schaefer. Also had a chance to get over to Arizona Volleyball today. They've got 3 very important matches on their schedule coming up. They're going to host the Kansas schools and then the rival Arizona State after the 11-0 non-conference. The ladies have struggled to a 1-4 start in conference play. So this is a critical stretch for them because you got to win at home. And no matter what sport it is, you really need to try to win at home. That's why, to be quite honest with you, this is I think it's another mega sports weekend because everybody is at home again this weekend. The wins have to come for everybody this weekend. Arizona football, I'm stopping short of calling it a must win because I think, again, like we just stated, if the goal is to get to the Big 12 championship game, then it's a must win because you cannot lose again and probably expect. I don't know that 6-3 is going to get you into the Big 12 championship game. It could. Now, it could. This is a crazy Big 12 right now. It could, but you're going to be looking at losses to several of the teams that you would likely be contending for that position with, being BYU and Kansas State, and then potentially Colorado could be in that mix because they would be 3-1 if they came in here and won. So you're likely not going to win any of those tiebreakers if it comes down to a bunch of 6-3 teams.
Not to mention, you also got to be wondering about how long can Iowa State and Texas Tech both keep their undefeated conference records going right now, because those 2 squads, Iowa State is ranked in the top 10 right now. They're a squad that's really starting to show that they might have a little bit of a formula there to maybe try and sneak up and steal this from BYU, who By the way, they don't have necessarily that easy of a road either. They also have that UCF road trip, and then immediately following, they have to go to Salt Lake City to play Utah, who, as far as I understand it, that's going to be a whole new different regime change going on the offensive side of the ball. We can't keep wondering if Cam Rising's going to keep playing anymore.
Right.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
So now the offense is officially going into their new quarterback. And then after that, they got to go to Kansas.
They're talking about an 8th year.
I have no idea how.
8th year.
I have no idea how we're talking
That would
about
be like 2 medical red shirts and a COVID year. That's yeah. Two medical red shirts, a red shirt, and a COVID year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't comprehend the fact that man will be playing almost an entire NFL career
Right.
in the college football realm. I can't imagine that. And then not to mention, like I said, Iowa State, they host UCF and host Texas Tech, and then they go to Lawrence to take on Kansas. Texas Tech, meanwhile, let's look at them. Baylor, at TCU, at Iowa State, then at home against Colorado, and then at Oklahoma State before they finish the year against West Virginia. So again, no, there's a lot to be said that the top end of the Big 12, their schedules are pretty favorable in some instances, and for some of them, not so much. 6-3 is a possibility to go ahead and get there, one of those two spots in the conference. But you got to hope for a lot of help if you're Arizona if you drop this game this week.
Yeah, that's why I think 7-2 is really what you got to be. If the goal is to get into the Big 12 championship game with a chance at the playoff, then you got to win out. There's no other way to say that part of it. Now, if the goal is to be a bowl team, then obviously there's some leeway there. You can lose 1, maybe even 2 games. You just got to get to 6, and I still think there's 6 wins for this team. I still think this is a bowl team. I don't know that that's going to satisfy a lot of people in this fan base.
Oh, it won't. It won't.
I still am not quite sure. And we'll get into what I'm not quite sure of a little bit later. But we got to get to a break here. I believe Cricket is back. I hope Cricket is back, and she'll because I haven't seen her. So we're going to find out here very momentarily.
Oh no!
Cricket is back with us, giving you your traffic and weather every 20 minutes on the Fives.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Collisions reported on Oracle have a crash that occurred on Oracle south of Fort Lowell. Another collision occurred Oracle and Auto Mall at Auto Mall Drive and Oracle Road. And some changes, Grant Road and Alvernon Road work continuing. No left turns permitted in any direction at Grant Road and Alvernon. And for your weather, 94 tomorrow, 88 Thursday. Friday, 50% chance of rain and 77. It's 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association. Join the Alzheimer's Association for the 2024 Walk to End Alzheimer's Tucson on Saturday, October 26th at Gene C. Reed Park. Register today at alz.org/walk. That's alz.org/walk.
Lots of people around town like to talk about the Cats.
But there's only one radio station that's the official home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is the flagship home of Arizona Wildcat Sports. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Save big during Royal's Autumn Sales Event. Save up to $16,454 on a new GMC Sierra 1500 and save $15,204 off a new 23 Buick Enclave. Or choose a lease with nothing due at signing and all taxes and fees included. $273 a month leases the 24 Buick Encore for 36 months. Lease the 24 GMC Terrain for $299 a month for 39 months. Or lease the 24 GMC Sierra 1500 for $488 a month for 24 months. All leases with nothing due at signing and all taxes and fees included. See dealer for details. Leases through GM Financial. OAC mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year. Sierra and Enclave OAC plus tax, title license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. G8016, B33476, B33857, G8420. Offers end 10/31/24. Save big now at Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
Hey, Wildcat fans, Arizona football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats!
Marco Polo.
Hoping to find new customers online can feel like playing Marco Polo in the dark.
Plumber. Right here. Plumber. Right here.
Let Cumulus Boost help spotlight your business. Boost your website. Boost your findability. Boost your reputation. Boost your business. Get a boost. Get found. Get on the map. Contact us today at cumulusboost.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is proud to support your Arizona Wildcat football team as they continue their season with another home game this Saturday at Arizona Stadium.
This week, your Wildcats take on Colorado. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m.
To get your tickets, visit ArizonaWildcats.com or call 621-CATS. For more University of Arizona Wildcat football, including a complete schedule and link to buy tickets online, log on to WildcatsRadio1290.com.
Remember, you can hear all the action of Arizona men's basketball this season with Brian Jeffries on Amazon's Alexa by saying,
"Alexa, play Wildcats Radio 1290.
The only place to hear Arizona men's basketball is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. I was all set to talk about a football game, and then some major breaking news got in the way. Davante Adams is the newest member of the JETS. It did take a conditional 3rd-round pick, reportedly, that could turn into a 2nd-round pick based on performance to get him, but it obviously reunites Aaron Rodgers with his favorite target ever. And I'm sure that Aaron had nothing to do with that, right? He definitely had nothing to do with Bob Saleh getting fired, and he definitely had nothing to do with this either. Right? I'll give the Jets this much. They're trying. Unlike old man Jera, they are actually all in. Maybe you could say that Woody Johnson is chasing, but you cannot say that Woody Johnson isn't trying. He has Super Bowl aspirations. Whether they're delusional or not, he's at least acting on them. I'm not sure receiver was their biggest area of need, but generally what Aaron wants, Aaron gets.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards, Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Arizona and Colorado this Saturday at the stadium, the first day game of this 2024 season. Temperatures expected to be in the mid-70s, so it should be a comfortable day to watch some football with kickoff at 1 o'clock. We will be on the U of A Mall for homecoming beginning at 8:30 a.m. I believe we had an 8:30 show last year, but it was in November towards the end of the season, so out there a little bit earlier, but we'll be bright and early. Breakfast with the Wildcats, 8:30 to 11:30 for us. Network from 11:30 to kick off at 1 with Brian Jeffries and Lamont Lovett on homecoming Saturday. Some 300 football alums scheduled to be back this weekend. Khalil Tate, who had the famed game in Boulder against the Colorado Buffaloes where he just ran crazy, is going to be the honorary captain this weekend. He's really looking forward to being back here in Tucson and southern Arizona, so it should be a fun Saturday on campus for the Wildcats and the Colorado Buffaloes as Deion Sanders makes his first appearance in town as a head coach in our conference. The question is, will it be his only appearance as a head coach here in conference play? That all remains to be seen as we move forward with life. But a lot of questions surrounding the Colorado team. They lost 31-28 to Kansas State over the weekend and suffered some injuries. Their star two-way player, Travis Hunter, exited that game with a right shoulder injury in the second quarter. He did not return, played only 44 snaps total in the game. He played 23 offensive snaps, 21 snaps on defense in that game. They were also suffered an injury to their second leading receiver, Jimmy Horn, who has been a really big target in both these seasons that Deion has been on the scene for his son, Shadir. Let's hear from Deion Sanders, who spoke at his press conference today about the status of two of his more high-profile players on the roster.
Injury, Travis should play for certain on Saturday. Jimmy as well. Timmons, Marion, those two guys are probably out, and Will Shepard should play as well.
All right, an injury report. How about that?
Some college conferences require them, DK.
Require that, exactly.
Just
everybody
like
should
it's
required
required there be a 10-second runoff for a 12-man penalty on defense, even if you do it on purpose.
Oh, well, I didn't. So wait, I did not hear the 12-second part of that. Is that how that works in the NFL? Is it a runoff?
Well, if the clock is live, that I think is the biggest issue, is that it was a deliberate penalty. Again, this was, if you missed the Ohio State-Oregon contest with one of our former Pac-12 schools, with 10 seconds left, Ohio State, they had to go ahead and get there to get a game-winning field goal. After the stoppage, at 10 seconds left, the Ducks sent out 12 defenders on a third down play, and it left them with just 6 seconds. So the play doesn't even count because it's a pre-snap penalty, but it still takes the time off the clock. So they ran off 4 seconds for no reason. That's why the NCAA is saying, okay, teams, now we've finally figured out that somebody's using this to their advantage and things like that. But just like there are some teams that are smart enough to utilize a 12-man penalty, there are teams that are nice enough to utilize an injury report, which is what we get in this situation.
Indeed. So good to see. And we talked about this on Monday. You want to see Travis Hunter come in. I mean, one of the star players, could potentially be the Heisman Trophy winner this year, plays both ways. You want to see the best players in the game, and when you have an opportunity to have them in your own stadium, you definitely want to see them out there. So good to hear that Travis will be able to play. I know Deion's other son, Shiloh, was coming back from an injury as well and played in the game against Kansas State. My understanding is he didn't necessarily play all that well, but he was back out there. So you want to see Shadur, you want to see Shiloh, you want to see Jimmy Horn, you want to see Travis Hunter and those guys when they get here on Saturday for sure. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're going to be talking. We're going to hear from the play caller for your Arizona Wildcats coming up at about 3:40-ish. We'll hear from Matt Atkins, who spoke today, and we'll get his thoughts on what some of the issues have been on the offensive side of the ball as the Wildcats try to figure this whole thing out and get back on track. And Matt will tell you what he thinks is happening in that respect. A lot of stuff happening in the NFL. We're going to get to that as well. But first, let's find out how our BetQL picks are coming along. That's what we want to definitely find out here. And if I can get Fred Flintstone to do what I want him to do here, I'll say, this is not on Bob. This is when it's on me. All right, well, it's not. I'm not hearing it. Bob, have me hot. Hot. You got me hot over there, Bob? You got me hot? I'm hot? All right, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it over here, though. So, okay. We'll come back to that. Anyway, BetQL, last night, the play was the Bills and the Jets game. Take the over at 41, and we came home pretty good, looking pretty good on that one in last night. The Jets had a chance. First of all, how about what is going on with Aaron Rodgers and these Hail Marys? I've never seen anybody who can complete a Hail Mary like this guy does.
Are we sure he completed it? I'm sorry. I need to have a conversation about what exactly is a catch in the NFL.
Don't believe it.
I have a question about what exactly is a catch in the NFL. So we understand that the way that the terminology is that a receiver must survive the ground.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the ground with the football, if it's a jump ball, you have to come down with it. When the Jets receiver went up and then came down, landed flat on his back. So I got no issues about him being inbounds. That's not the whole issue here. He hits the ground, and then he holds it for maybe a second before the ball is then ripped out, and then it just rolls out of the end zone. I see that, and I'm like, oh, he didn't survive the catch. And then I watch it. It's like, okay, no, he got it tied up with the defender, and the defender then rips it out. And to me, that's an incomplete pass, even if the guy caught it, landed on his back. What exactly is surviving the ground in the NFL for a catch anymore? I don't understand it. But, hey, this guy knows how to get Hail Marys. I'm sure they needed to go ahead and give Aaron this one because, let's be honest, he looked miserable out there last night. Besides the Hail Mary, he had some of the nastiest dying ducks I have seen in a long time.
23 of 35. He finished 294 yards, a pair of touchdowns, but they lose to the Bills at home, 23-20. So the number covers at 43. So we told you take the over, and that number covered by 2 last night. So we've got a number for you on the upcoming American League championship game. Let's see if we can get Fred one more time here. No, we're just not hearing Fred. Fred. There we go. Now we got Fred. All right. There we go. One more time. We can get the whole thing. All right. So here's your BetQL 5-star play for tonight's American League Championship Series. Game number 2. I'm not real happy with the results of game number 1, as you can imagine. The Yankees won. We'll get you some highlights on that coming up a little bit later. But your 5-star play tonight is going with the Yankees on the money line because you've got Garrett Cole on the bump tonight for the Yankees in game number 2, which will start here in about a little over an hour. I think 4:38 scheduled first pitch from Yankee Stadium for game number 2. Garrett Cole for the Yankees against Tanner Bybee. So both of the top pitchers for these two teams are on the bump tonight. But Garrett Cole and the Yankees are the play on the money line at -175. So that's a pretty high money line in terms of you really got to put some money down to win anything. But that is the play tonight if you're looking to try to make a little money on the American League Championship. We've actually been improving in these picks.
Right.
The last 32 picks, we've won 20. So it's getting better.
All right, so
Getting better.
I have another line that we need to go ahead and have a bet. Let me not a bet, but we just got to have a wager on this.
Okay.
What exactly is the likelihood that Tanner Bibby or Bybee, however you want to pronounce the last name,
Bybee?
What is
Tanner Bybee?
Tanner Bybee. What is the likelihood that he goes over 4 innings today? He has not gone over 4 innings in the 2 playoff games he had against Detroit.
I don't know that any of the Indians pitchers have gone over 4 innings lately.
I mean, so he had 4 innings against the Tigers in that Thursday game against Detroit. Then he only had 4 2/3 on Saturday. So I'm wanting to see, does he go even into the 5th in this contest? Because they've been going quick to the bullpen in Cleveland for this. And to be fair, that bullpen, there's a reason you go to it early. You've got a lot of options in the bullpen if you're Cleveland going into these playoffs.
Yeah, it is. I mean, again, they've had the best bullpen in baseball all season long, but I just don't know that you can win like that at this time of the year. You've got to have some starters. I think at some point you can't keep running guys out there every night. Now, the benefit to last night was they didn't use any of their high leverage guys in game 1. I mean, you didn't see Clase out there. You didn't see Gaddis out there. You didn't see Heron out there. So they've got all those guys ready for tonight. If, like you said, you get maybe 4, I would hope you'd be able to at least get 5 out of Tanner Bybee, and then you work the rest of those guys for the final 4 to try to get you a split headed back to Cleveland for game 3 on Thursday night. So no game tonight in the National League as they are back in New York. Game 3 of that series will start tomorrow, and they are even 1-1. It's DK on the Sports Tip. My name is David Kelly. I've got Dragon Ball with me. We got Audio Bob piloting his first show ever. So we'll continue to make sure and hope that everything stays steady. There's no turbulence. We don't make the wrong left or right turn. And we continue on a nice flight path here for the next 2.5 hours. Right now, cricket is back, and she gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With backups on 12th Avenue north of Ahaway at Ahaway and Mission Road. A collision I-10 near Congress on the eastbound side of I-10 near Congress. Some slowing there. Backups westbound Grant at I-10 and a crash on Oracle south of Fort Lowell. Weather-wise, 94 tomorrow, 88 Thursday. On Friday, 50% chance of rain and 77 the high on Friday and 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Only at Lowe's, MVP Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500. Discount on eligible product only and reflected in quote. Restrictions apply. See Pro Desk for details. MVP Pro Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's football press conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
Have I told you about QC Kinetics? I know I have, because you don't have to keep living with that joint pain. Hey, it's David Kelly from Wildcats Radio 1290. Real lasting relief is possible with the help from QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back, thanks to QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. I'm talking back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. These are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. These protocols have been developed by medical professionals and under the leadership of Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a former orthopedic surgeon and a pioneer in clinical regenerative medicine. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 2 locations here in Southern Arizona, off of Academy, off of Orange Grove. Call QC Kinetics now, 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955, QC Kinetics.
Hey, Wildcat fans, Arizona football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FV. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
Oh, we can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Alaskan AC has been keeping people chill since 1972.
Oh, chill. Cool. I get it. It's a theme.
No, it's not.
It's not?
The theme is 72, as in 1972.
Is that why you dress like that?
$72 for an Alaska vacation.
Ooh.
$72 for a service call.
Neat.
Even $72 off any repair.
Whoa.
This month, it's 72, 72, 72 to celebrate 1972, the year Alaskan AC opened its doors.
And everybody was kung fu fighting. Everyone was streaking, too. Let's stick to what we do best.
That's right. A $72 Alaska vacation is the perfect way to prepare for the upcoming season. It's so good, we guarantee no breakdowns.
The $72 service call makes it easy to check any concerns. And saving $72 off any repair means that you can buy one of those cool banana seats for your rad bike. You have a weird definition of cool.
72, 72, 72. This month at AlaskanAC.com.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Handoff will go to Hubbard in the end zone, and he's tackled for the safety.
Brent Brennan in the middle of it, jumping around. You know, wins are hard to get, and you got to celebrate them when you get them.
I love this.
Yeah.
If the coaches ain't excited about what's going on and can't get up for the game, then they shouldn't be over there.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute. That game last night probably does not stay as close as it did for as long as it did if Aaron Rodgers does not hit another miraculous Hail Mary to end the first half. But it's also fair to ask Buffalo this. What are you guys doing? No, you did not blow it at the end of the game, but you absolutely blew it at the end of the first half. What is it with this team and the end of half scenarios? I'm Jim Rome.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for the power, performance, and reliability of a new Superstart battery. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Different ways of answering that. I think the first thing is that he's taking.
All right, we'll bring it back here. We'll bring it back here to me on my side. First, DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Arizona trying to figure out this offensive piece.
Feet out of the shotgun. Receivers left and right. Ball almost middle of the field. Noah will take the snap straight back to throw. Has some time waiting, looking deep, throwing deep, looking for the end zone, and it's picked off by BYU. And the Cougars going to take over at their own 1-yard line.
That was one of 4 turnovers in the game for the Wildcats. 3 interceptions on Saturday for Noah Fafita. What are they going to do to try to get Noah more comfortable in this offense to try and continue to find the path forward for him and this offense. We had a chance today to hear from Matt Atkins, and he was asked what is keeping this offense from finishing this season.
I could go 75 different ways of answering that. I think the first thing is that he's taking too many hits, and we need to protect him better. And when I say protect him better, I'm not just talking about the offensive line. I'm saying from me to the receivers winning releases, to the backs being better IDs, to the it is every single one of us need to work to make sure that he is not getting hit as much as he does. Now he is the way he competes. I'm ecstatic he's on our football team, and the way he pops up from that, is why he is the leader of the offense. But with that being said, we need to take care of that much better and try and get ourselves, whether it's putting personnel in the right places or getting the right calls at the right time, trying to make sure that he has the ability to get it out of his hand.
And we're back here. We'll let you hear some more from Matt Atkins. Matt Atkins spoke today at the press conference. We'll let you hear a little bit more of what Matt Atkins had to say today.
Turnovers and short yardage. Those are the two things that keep on popping up. We need to take care of the ball. We can't go to a place like BYU and turn the ball over 4 times and expect success. And especially, some of those, we gave it to them in the red, I think one time on the 6 and one time right around the 25-yard line. So we need to protect the ball, and then we need to make sure that when we get ourselves to a 2nd and 1, that we see ourselves earn a first down on that set of sticks.
Coach Brennan talked yesterday about helping Noah out,
Yep.
maybe putting him in better position to succeed.
Yep.
What does that mean to you? What does that look like?
I could go 75 different ways of answering that. I think the first thing is that he's taking too many hits, and we need to protect him better. And when I say protect him better, I'm not just talking about the offensive line. I'm saying from me to the receivers winning releases, to the backs being better IDs, to the it is every single one of us need to work to make sure that he is not getting hit as much as he does. Now he is the way he competes. I'm ecstatic he's on our football team, and the way he pops up from that, is why he is the leader of the offense. But with that being said, we need to take care of that much better and try and get ourselves, whether it's putting personnel in the right places or getting the right calls at the right time, trying to make sure that he has the ability to get it out of his hand.
Do you think Noah at times is thinking too much or kind of trying too hard to make a play?
I think that no, I call that pressing, and it happens positions across the board, right? For a tight end, that might look like I am on a backside cutoff, and instead of taking proper technique, I try and just macho man him. Do you know what I mean? And it's trying to do more than what you need to do in that moment. You look at it. I think there was a little bit of that earlier in the season. I think we're growing out of it. There's some really bad swings in there, right? We call a quick screen to the right, and normally you think your efficiency rate on that should be pretty high, or if anything, you're in 2nd and 10, and the kid makes an incredible play and a pick. That's not pressing, right? You know what I mean? He's not pressing in that situation. The sack fumble, we have to be better in terms of getting him protected and getting the ball out of our hands. That's not pressing. Now, and I think he's really buying into our vision of it, which is why, at least from my perspective, in spurts, we look like what we want to look like. And he's doing a great job. And then just being able to get over the hump where we are consistently doing that, right? And we're not having stalls We're able to finish drives. We're on play 9 or play 10 of a drive, and we have the same execution that we did on the first plays that got us down there.
Do you, as a play caller, does it feel like you guys are right on the edge of kind of that breakout game? Because the yardage is there, you've been in the red zone and all that, but the points aren't showing up. Do you think you're kind of on the precipice of that happening?
I feel that way. I mean, once again, I just go back to the turnovers have killed us, and we need to take care of the ball. And the way that Dwayne and that defense are doing at times, like we need to make sure that we're playing team football and that the Wildcats have the ball every time at the end of the play, every time we have it. But outside of that, there is a lot of good stuff on the tape. It's just consistently doing it down in, down out, and not having stalls and not having ups and downs.
Talking about the turnovers, what key factors are you looking at from Colorado's defense to kind of help out your offense?
Yeah, they do a great job. I've never met their defense coordinator, but I like what he does. I like the way that those kids play for that staff. They're extremely athletic, and they present challenges with what they run. With that being said, my message to our offense is always about us. Obviously, we have to run the right plays versus the right defense, and it's our job as a coaching staff to put them in the right situations. But if we do our jobs right, then, we played against some really good teams this last couple weeks, and I still feel like the mistakes that we make are on us. And so this weekend it'll be the same thing, is that as long as we're focused on our details and we're focused on trying to execute within our scheme, we'll be fine. If we're pressing, doing things outside of that scheme, not understanding that scheme, is when we make them look like heroes.
It seemed like there were a handful of plays against BYU where the blitz was not recognized correctly or soon enough, resulting in some free rushers coming in. Whose responsibility is that, and how would you like to see that kind of play out in a given situation?
Yep. So that's another one. It's if you guys were in the staff meeting with us, you'd understand those are complex issues. You can't narrow it down to one thing because it could be 3 different protections. And on one of them, we might know that guy's coming free, and that's Noah's responsibility to get to a hot. On others of them, we have a critical error. You know what I mean? So it's not one thing. And we need to make it simple enough to the point where we're executing those things at a high level, where Noah knows when he does have problems, where they're coming from. Because one of the things that's incredible about Noah, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, is when he's hot and he knows he's hot off someone, Noah wins that matchup a lot with his ability to escape the pocket. And so just all of those details adding up. And, it's hard because, I understand the expectations for this offense, and I get it. And we have a couple really good pieces, and I'm right there with the expectations. We need to produce, and we are still in year 1 of this offense. And now it is our responsibility to accelerate that growth as rapidly as possible. And I expect the standard for that to be high from the players, from the outside, from everyone. But we need to get that accelerated as quickly as we possibly can.
What are your impressions of Travis Hunter as a player?
Dynamic, explosive. When you watch, there's certain times, and I would put T in this category, they just got it. Their instincts are on point. You can tell that he has been playing with a competitive spirit for an extremely long time. The other thing that sticks out is I think the best players like that in the country have a lot of fun playing. And you can tell that he is competing his tail off. And then just the explosiveness that he has.
And we're going to talk to Caden Luke here in a little bit. How has Big Red affected the offense when you think about him in his skill set?
He is physical. I mean, sometimes, on game day I'm in the press box, I don't get to hear it, but on practice I'm right up in it, and just hearing some of it is whoa, exactly that was read on that play. He is obviously a young player. I don't think we were 100% certain what we were getting when he came, and he just keeps on kind of showing us new things that he's capable of, and that he's not a guy that you can necessarily fit into a box because he's able to do more than we maybe thought at the beginning of the season. And so hopefully, he's another guy, right? Like, he's a freshman playing in big time situations. And so sometimes that shows up. But the one thing that's great is that he gets another opportunity, another rep, and he's learning as he goes.
Last question with Jason.
Is he kind of a dying breed a little bit? Like a power back?
Yes. I mean, we had a guy at San Jose State that did kind of the same job. He was great at it, but it did not sound the same. So his ability to get low and strike on the rise is like, kind of to your point, like you're not used to seeing it as much in college football these days. And it's a fun piece to play with, and it's on us to put him in the right spots to make sure that he's successful and making sure that he's in the right time in the right situations.
All right, that's Matt Atkins, the passing game coordinator for your Arizona Wildcats, spoke today on the offense, what he's seeing, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to help Noah, the things they've got to try and cut down from not doing, and obviously that is turning the ball over and short yardage, moving the chains, getting first downs. Two instances that come to mind, obviously, in that game, and we'll talk more of that with Glenn Howe coming up. Is just really short yardage. 2nd and 1, they had an opportunity in the first half. They couldn't convert. Went for it on 4th down, came up short on the spot there, and then 2nd and goal from the 3 in the 4th quarter, and they couldn't punch it in there either. Had to settle for a field goal. And just some of the routes we're seeing, some of the way things are being blocked. Glenn Howe and I will get into all of that coming up at around 5:20 this evening for Wildcat Breakdown. It is DK on the Sports Tip, 1 hour in the books. Much more coming up for you in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to talk some hockey with Jonathan Schaefer from the Tucson Roadrunners. Also, we will hear from the head volleyball coach of the Arizona Wildcats, Charita Stubbs, on a number of issues. Talked to Charita today. They are using 2 liberos now on the women's side of college volleyball, a little bit different than in the past, more of a college men's style game with 2 liberos and how that is working. We'll hear from Charita on that, the important homestand that they've got with the Kansas schools and ASU coming in. And also, there is a burgeoning controversy happening in college volleyball surrounding a transgender player at San Jose State. You will hear Charita Stubbs' thoughts on that as well coming up at around 4:40. DK on the Sports Tip. I'm Wildcats Radio 1290. Dragon Ball is going to tell you everything that's happening around Southern Arizona sports and the world.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
Well, the Wildcats are prepping for Colorado this week. There's been a lot of looks for the offense, wondering if that unit's going to have that breakout game after a few weeks of struggling. Arizona coach Matt Atkins says that the team is going to be doing a lot to help Noah Fafita out on the field. But one of the big things is just trying to keep him clean. So far this year, Noah has been sacked 6 times on the year with 9 interceptions as well. One thing that Arizona will be watching out for is Colorado Stars Travis Hunter will be expected to play in that game against Arizona. Hunter leads the Buffs in multiple receiving categories, as well as the team's number 2 wideout, Jimmy Horn, will be slated to play against the Wildcats as well. Major moves happening in the NFL. The Jets finally pulled the trigger and brought in Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets from his days as a Packer. Devontae Adams now shipped to New York from the Raiders. And the AFC East rival Bills, they're keeping track with the Jets. They go ahead and they make a big move for Josh Allen as Amari Cooper leaves the Browns to go to Buffalo. And I'm Dragon Ball with your 2020 Sports Update.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collision occurred near the U of A Mountaineer Speedway on Mountain to the north of Speedway Boulevard. Some busy travel for traffic on Speedway Boulevard at Park Avenue, also on Speedway Boulevard near Campbell. Other collisions, Oracle south of Fort Lowell, crash eastbound I-10 near Congress. 94 tomorrow, 88 Thursday. For Friday, 77 the high with a 50% chance of rain and a 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Get immersed in new worlds and ideas with Audible. Explore an incredible selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals, all in one easy app. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer. Because realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
1290 is the one place you can always count on for Arizona Wildcat sports.
Oh, man, praise the Lord. Thank you.
You will never miss the game if you have your radio locked on 1290.
Such a good feeling to be a Wildcat.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons to compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you can win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season. More info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Families affected by Hurricanes Milton and Helene urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today to hurricane relief by going to redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Bear down, Arizona. Your Wildcats are back at home this Saturday to take on Colorado. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. with the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show at 8:30 a.m. live from the U of A Mall. Catch all the action on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor that summer could finally be coming to an end, a big relief for us. But your car is probably still feeling the effects of the brutal summer heat. So now's the perfect time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a complimentary check of your brakes, batteries, coolant levels, and wiper blades. Those are just a few of the things to help keep your car road trip ready. And when those cooler overnight temperatures finally do arrive, some of you will see your low pressure warning light come on. But don't worry, you can stop by anytime for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if your tire sensor really is a problem, we can fix that too. Mention this ad and get free installation and tire rebalancing with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor. Visit jackfurriers.com for even more specials. And for fast, friendly service, you can make an appointment online, call ahead, or just drive up and find out why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona football, along with Arizona football play-by-play. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
All right, well, they're going through Dragon Ball on ESPN right now, just what we were talking about at the top of the last hour in terms of the college football playoff.
Right there, that's not a good sign. Second team out already listed as BYU, which means if they're going based off of the projected AP poll, you're going to get one team in the Big 12 getting into this thing.
Exactly.
So if you want to get in, Arizona fans, you got to hope that this team pulls off a Big 12 championship game at the last little tail end of the season here, because I don't think we're going to get more than one Big 12 squad.
So what they're doing right now is they're going through a college football playoff projected bracket, 12 through the quarterfinals so far. So they've got Boise State as the ranked 15th. They're the 12th seed right now. They've got Tennessee, number 13. Tennessee is the 11. And number 10, Clemson as the 10th seed. Wow, LSU, considering the fact that they did not look very good at the beginning of the season, they are in right now as the number 9 seed. They are currently ranked 8th in the country. They've played a little better since that opening loss to USC.
They started the season off with that loss to USC, but since then they've had a couple of big wins, including breaking down UCLA and getting the win over Ole Miss, that was a big win for them, going over number 9 at the time at Ole Miss.
So they've got LSU playing Alabama as the 8th seed, and the first round would be at the home school sites.
Yep.
So Alabama, the first team that they list that would actually host in that first round. Georgia right now, number 5, listed as the 7th seed. And they would also host. They've got them on the 10-7 line hosting Clemson. So then we'll find out what the 12-7, the 11-6 are. They've got Ohio State ranked number 4 as the 6th seed, and they would host Tennessee. That would be the 11-6 game right now. And then the 5th seed at the moment is number 3, Penn State. So I guess that means that would mean Penn State's the lowest seeded of the conference champions.
Because Oregon would be in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Oregon is leading the Big Ten right now. That's correct. Oregon is in first place.
And the only reason why Georgia's in number 7 in regards to this first round is because Texas would probably be the projected winner of the SEC at this point in time.
Right. So they've got the first round as Boise State versus Penn State, 12-5. LSU versus Alabama, 9-8. Tennessee versus Ohio State, 11-6, and Clemson versus Georgia, 10-7. That would be the first round. Now, of course, the next round, the quarterfinals, would have your conference champions. Right now, number 9, Iowa State. So they would be, I think that would be the team. Iowa State's in first place right now.
That's the Big 12 winner.
So that's your
there.
Big 12 conference champion right there, or leader at this point. They are the 4th seed. Would be Iowa State. So, yeah, I mean, right now you're looking at that. They're the only Big 12 team in it right now.
They're the only Big 12 team in it. They will be the only Big 12 team in this projection. And, again, the other part of it also, just to be reminded that we're coming to terms now with what this is. It's the 5 conference leaders get the automatic bid to the postseason. Right. That being said, Boise State winning the Mountain West and only getting the last seed in is kind of disrespectful, if you ask me. But nonetheless, I mean, was it not Boise State was the team that made us get rid of the BCS?
Right,
I mean, this is the same squad that made us don't make us get rid of the projected first rounds because of Boise State again, too.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
Miami's the number 3 seed, and they are number 6 right now in the country. Came back from that 25-point deficit to hold on to their top 10 spot at California a few weeks ago. So 3 is Miami, and 4 is Iowa State. So there'll be 4 teams in this round here, the quarterfinals, that have the byes. So then 1 and 2 at this point are Texas and
Oregon. Oregon would be the host for the 10-7 game, which would be Clemson and Georgia, based on this projection.
The 1-8. They'll host the 1-8 because they're the 1.
No, because based on that, see the line there.
Oh, Georgia. I thought you said Texas.
Yeah, 10-7. They're hosting the 10-7.
Right. Oregon is,
And Texas would be hosting the 8-9 with Alabama and LSU. Correct. So that's an all SEC bracket right there.
So there you go. Yeah. So you got SEC is Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, So 4 teams from the SEC.
It's not a bad lineup. It's just not great for a Big 12 school
No.
to look at that picture
No.
and think to themselves, okay, so Kansas State can't get in. BYU was one of the first teams out.
Right.
And then you also get other squads that just are like that close to being potentially in the conversation. And let's be honest, these projections very early on. And what's the one thing that as a former Pac-12 school that we always got used to is that, don't worry, our conference is going to eat itself alive before we get to the bowl projections, and we won't get into the NCAA playoff
So you had
picture.
5 SEC schools, 4 Big Ten schools, and then
One Mountain West.
1 Big 12, and 1 ACC? Because Miami's still ACC, right?
Miami's still ACC, but so is Clemson.
Oh, so I'm sorry. So 2 ACC teams.
Yeah, so you got the Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee. That's your SEC conglomerate along with Texas. So that's 5 SEC squads there. Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and I think that's it for the Big Ten. And then you also get...
so just 3. Yeah, so
yeah,
okay,
Big Ten,
3
three Big Ten schools with Oregon in there. So again,
So
SEC
5, 3, 2, 1, and 1.
Yeah, SEC's got the biggest conglomerate between Tennessee, LSU,
Right.
Alabama, Georgia, and Texas at the top end of that.
So what are your thoughts on that? Right now, the first projected 10-12 team bracket has just 1 team from the Big 12, and they're going right now just based off who's are the leaders now. And right now, that would be Iowa State in the mix, with BYU being the first team out. So again, that's why we go back. If you were not with us for the top of the show, if the goal is still the college, if the goal to begin with for Arizona was the college football playoff, you got to win out. You got to win out to finish at least 7-2. I don't think anything less than 7-2 is going to get you into the Big 12 championship game. And then obviously you got to win the Big 12 championship game to have a chance to get into the playoff, because it appears right now that only 1 team from the Big 12 is getting into this postseason, this new postseason party that they've got going on. But that's fine. I always said I was fine with it. I was fine with anything that allowed the conference champion to get in. I know however many teams, yeah, it'd be nice to have 1, 2, maybe 3 teams, but as long as the conference champion is in the playoffs, that was the one reason I never supported the BCS.
Now, here's a legitimate question I would present to you, because we saw that there's that rule for the conference leader, and really in essence we have the 4 major conferences plus a conference at large with the Boise State selection. So I have to inquire, if there's a chance Boise State does not finish the season undefeated, but either Navy or Army do, and they win the AAC, do Army or Navy get into the national championship playoff?
Man, that would be something to see, wouldn't it?
That's a legit conversation, because, again, if we're talking about having just 5 conference leaders, if we're talking about the conferences at large, with the at-large bid between the Mountain West, the AAC, all these other places, it's not like it hasn't been unheard of, because Cincinnati made it before they made their move to the Big 12.
Right.
So if Navy or Army finish the season undefeated, which, again, if they're both undefeated going into the Army-Navy game at the end of the year this season, that could be major. If Boise State doesn't stay perfect, there's a chance that you would potentially have to have the conversation to have either the Black Knights or the Midshipmen get into the college football playoff.
And did I hear correctly that, I mean, obviously that there is an AAC championship game. So theoretically you could have 2 Army-Navy games.
You could.
You could have them playing in the AAC championship game and then again in the Army-Navy, the traditional Army-Navy game.
Yes.
Back-to-back weeks from what I've heard. And then because I think when I was listening on Writer Than You yesterday morning, there's because of when the Army-Navy game is structured into that second weekend in December, there would be no bye week for that team. If that team was taken into the playoff, they'd have to play the next week in the playoffs. So they literally have to play 3 weeks in a row.
Because the last game for Army, at the very least, is 11:30, November the 30th. The game between them and Navy is December the 14th.
Right.
So you would not even get that week off potentially, because you would have to have them play the American Athletic Conference championship game in between that. So that's a conversation. I'm going to be interested to see if that happens. That's asking a lot of things to go right.
Wow.
But I would love to be the first person to think of like, hey, let's sow the seeds of chaos a little bit here and see what we got to
never even
think.
thought about the fact you could have 2 Army-Navy games. I mean, that's crazy to think about in this whole new life that we live in college athletics. But how cool would that be to see those 2 teams play not once in the same season, but twice and likely in back-to-back weeks? All right. Welcome back, Cricket, to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to see our lady Cricket back here from all of her exploits, Disneyland. So how was Disneyland? We'll start there.
Chaotic. Like, it was just like I told you guys. I expected we'd spend a lot of time traveling there through the airports on Ubers and Lyfts, whatever. Time there checking in, eating dinner, and then like to bed. You know, I mean, it was fun. It was totally fun, but I wish we had maybe like an extra 24 hours there.
Yeah.
With like some free,
So
fast passes.
you did get to walk around the park a little bit? And,
Yes, we got on to the Haunted Mansion ride.
Well, that's a good one. I like that one.
My
The Haunted
girlfriend would be
Mansion.
ecstatic if that was the one ride she got to
That was
go
the
on.
one. It was the
That's
one.
hers. That's hers.
Nice. So any good food? Did they feed you well or?
They brought a lot of like sweet treats. I was trying not to eat poorly,
Okay.
but I had a really good like salad. I know that sounds silly. I had the eggs I had for breakfast in the morning. I was like, no pastries. I'll just do like eggs and like a little bit of bacon. So I think I was doing a little bit better than the pastries.
Now, since you were avoiding the pastries, was everything else still in the design of the Mickey Mouse head? Like, did your eggs come out with like the eggs shaped like Mickey Mouse's
with
head?
the ears, yeah. And then they did like this. They called it like a snow globe, but it was really cool. It was like Mickey's face was on it, but it was little, and it was like a moose and like truffle stuff in it.
Oh, wow.
It sounded really good, but I was like, I'll save calories for a beer.
There you go.
At the airport with my boss.
Does Disneyland should brew their own beer, shouldn't they? Or that would be cool if they did.
They might.
They may already brew their own beer, but the thing is that they brew everybody else's beer. Like, they get all the like shipments in for the Epcot Center, where you have to go to all the different continents and things like that.
Oh, wow.
So I'd imagine that's probably something that they would potentially do. But I don't know. I'd be shocked to think what would be
if they didn't, right?
Like, what would the IPA flavoring be for a Disneyland beer?
I don't know, but I could definitely think of like some fall, like Halloween types of flavors. You know, the pumpkin. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I don't know if that'd be good.
I feel like there'd have to be like a Jack Skellington Pumpkin Spice King IPA or something like that for the Halloween season,
and like some sort of like rum thing going on for like Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
You know, stuff like that.
And then you were filling in on the morning show over at K-Hit all that time. So what do you do with your afternoons when you don't have to work?
I couldn't even tell you what I did. I did stuff. I did junk. Like, I watched old Below Deck.
Oh my gosh.
Took
She
long
binge
naps.
watched Below Deck.
It was kind of boring. I was like, I didn't get anything like, important accomplished. Like,
Well,
no
good.
great chores or anything like that.
There's nothing wrong with that. See, I always tell people there's nothing wrong with just sitting around and doing a lot of nothing.
But it was a lot of days of a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for working for me, Dragon Ball.
He did a good job.
He does a really good job.
We enjoyed having him in on the traffic. But we love having you back. So glad
thank
to have
you.
you back.
Hearts.
And so glad for the people to hear you do your thing right now.
All right, from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported a crash near the U of A Mountain near Speedway on Mountain to the north of Speedway Boulevard. I-10 and Congress, collision there, and some slowing on eastbound I-10 approaching and passing Congress. More backups on the eastbound I-10 frontage road at Congress and the eastbound I-10 Congress off-ramp. 94 tomorrow, 88 Thursday. On Friday, 77 the high with a 50% chance of rain, and 94 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Play social games online for free. Head to ChumbaCasino.com now to join the Chumba fun and experience the thrill of the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Why are we named Wildcats Radio 1290? You want answers? Because we outwork everyone else in town to bring you the very best coverage of the Cats. That's why we are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. The one and only Wildcats Radio 1290.
Alaskan AC has been keeping people chill since 1972.
Oh, chill.
cool. I get it. It's a theme.
No, it's not.
It's not?
The theme is 72, as in 1972.
Is that why you dress like that?
$72 for an Alaska vacation.
Ooh.
$72 for a service call.
Neat.
Even $72 off any repair.
Whoa.
This month, it's 72, 72, 72 to celebrate 1972, the year Alaskan AC opened its doors.
And everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everyone was streaking, too. Let's stick to what we do best.
That's right. A $72 Alaska vacation is the perfect way to prepare for the upcoming season. It's so good, we guarantee no breakdowns.
The $72 service call makes it easy to check any concerns.
And saving $72 off any repair means that you can buy one of those cool banana seats for your rad bike.
You have a weird definition of cool.
72, 72, 72. This month at AlaskanAC.com.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
With fall savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,600 off select appliances from top brands like GE Profile. Save space and time with the new combo washer and dryer and do-it-all-in-one machine. And with Smart Dispense technology, the right amount of detergent is automatically added to every wash. Laundry day is a whole lot smarter with the GE Profile Ultra Fast Combo with Smart Dispense only at the Home Depot. Right now, save up to $1,600 and financing on select appliances with fall savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing about September 26th through October 16th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Hey, what you reading, Marty?
Just about the sheriff's race. I like Heather Lappin. She has served nearly 20 years in the sheriff's department and will decrease crime by increasing patrols.
I know Heather. She was on the news fighting for reform.
Yeah, enforcement group.
What about her opponent?
Chris Nanos' office was investigated regarding a sexual assault case. Also the misuse of funds.
Nanos sounds like bad news. I'm voting for Heather Lappin for sheriff.
Political ad paid for by Heather Lappin for sheriff. Authorized by Heather Lappin.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app. Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, I'm Mike Yam with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 6 wrapped up Monday night with the Bills defeating the Jets 23-20. Josh Allen threw for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the Bills to their 4th win of the season, while Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, they fell to 2-4. They've now lost 3 straight games. In Detroit, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport is reporting that Eden Hutchinson is officially out for the season after suffering a broken tibia and fibula during the Lions' Week 6 win against the Cowboys. Now, the star defensive end underwent successful surgery on Sunday night, but there is currently no timetable for a return. Some other injury news to get to. The Commanders, their head coach, Dan Quinn, has confirmed that Jonathan Allen suffered a torn pectoral muscle during Washington's Week 6 loss to the Ravens. The star defensive end is going to miss the remainder of the year. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and 1 blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 in Mississippi.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
When I found out my son was smoking weed, I thought it was just part of adolescence.
But then I found out how powerful weed is now.
When teens use vapes or dabs, the potency can be 80 to 100% THC.
Use of high THC products by youth can cause hallucinations, cannabis-induced psychosis,
and come with increased risks of suicidal thoughts,
planning, and attempts.
Just Say No, KNOW. Go to justsayno.org today for the facts.
A public service message from Johnny's Ambassadors.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Baseball is just a few minutes away. Game 2 of the American League Championship Series will be played in New York. Don't know if Travis and Tay are going to be there tonight, but they were last night. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift making their appearance. Travis Kelce, of course, a native of Cleveland, Ohio. Off night in the National League, the Mets swung their big bats in Game 2.
Crack to right center field. Pajes on the move to the track. He couldn't find it. That's because it's over the wall. Grand slam, Vientos.
Mark Vientos wielding the big stick. 6 runs in the first 2 innings for the Mets yesterday against the Dodgers after they were shut out 9-0 by L.A. in Game 1. New York allowing that lead to hold up in the end.
You might have heard a few faint cries of yeah from the relatively small contingent of Mets fans who thought Diaz had strike 3. It's 2-2. Diaz sets. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed strike 3. Put it in the books. He finally went to the slider, strikes out Freeman, and the Mets have evened up the National League Championship Series at 1 game apiece. Edwin Diaz picks up the save, and the Mets have gotten just what they wanted in California, a split at Dodger Stadium. Now they head home for 3 straight at Citi Field.
And game number 3, game 1 of the 3 at Citi Field will be tomorrow in the evening at 5:08, and the Dodgers looking to have to a little bit of a hill to climb now, tied to try to at least get 1 to get this series back to the West Coast and Los Angeles for at a minimum of Game 6, and they would hope definitely as well Game 7. Or they could just go to New York and win all 3 and not even have to worry about going back to play any games.
Well, when you got the opportunity to go ahead and close out at home, you got to go ahead and take the opportunities, particularly in the sense of, let's not forget, there was still those murmurs that were going on at the tail end of the regular season that the Dodgers were like, maybe Shohei could come back and pitch. Maybe Shohei could come back and pitch. You don't want to go ahead and give the Dodgers an opportunity to actually think they can put Shohei on the mound for Game 6 or Game 7 to potentially close something out. The guy is just electric. You don't want to give him another playoff moment. Don't give Shohei that opportunity to have his playoff moment there. And the Mets, I mean, hey, you've gotten pretty good. And what a way to respond to a 33 consecutive inning shutout streak by hitting a home run off the leadoff hitter in the first inning of Game 2. I mean, that's a way to go ahead and let the pitchers know, hey, you got us in the first game. We know what you throw now. Now we know how to catch up to you. That's a great message to send. And, of course, it had to be sent by Francisco Lindor, a man that is very, very near and dear to your heart, I know for a fact.
Indeed. We loved Frankie when he was in Cleveland back in the day. Good to see him, though, finally kind of getting some success and having some success after some struggles to the start to his time as a New York Met. So that is what's happening in the National League. Game 1 last night in the American League, and the young man Juan Soto would hit a home run early for the New York Yankees, and then it would be the veteran Giancarlo Stanton.
Now the 0-1 is hit in the air to left center. It is high. It is far. Oh, it is gone. A Stantonian home run. Giancarlo. Non si può scopparlo. Stanton, who is a terrific postseason player, bangs out another one, and the Yankees have a 5-1 lead.
Yankees got the pitching last night. They would hold on to take down the Guards.
Struck him out swinging. Another great change. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
I am not a Yankee fan, but I love listening to John Sterling call a baseball game. Great to have him back in the booth for this final phase of his career, ending his career the right way with playoff baseball, meaningful baseball games after he stepped away from the booth earlier this year, getting a chance to go out the way that you should as a Hall of Fame play-by-play man. And speaking of play-by-play men, not Hall of Fame yet, but maybe someday he might be. Let's talk some Tucson Roadrunners hockey with the man who is calling the games now, the new voice of your Roadrunners. His name is Jonathan Schaefer. He's been on the broadcast team for a couple of years, but with Adrian Denny's promotion up to the National League and the Utah Hockey Club, he takes over the reins of calling the games here locally. And Jonathan, opening weekend, a split in Colorado. What was your assessment of weekend number one for this new ninth Roadrunners hockey team?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, David. Really appreciate it. And yeah, it was a good opening weekend. Got to Colorado a little early just to, get the first trip out of the way and kind of start getting to know each other a bit more with all the hockey players and stuff and the coaching staff. So always nice first long road trip. And first game went like it went. It was a bit of a slower start for us, and Colorado's atmosphere and their crowd was really into the game. So it was a bit of a tougher start in the barn like they had. But I knew we weren't going to get swept, after losing game one. And game two, the offense got a lot of it together. There was a lot of penalties on our end, but we killed off a lot of penalties as well, going 12 for 14 on the week, or at least on the weekend. And penalty kill was up to par, and the power play had 4 goals over the weekend as well. And that's one of the aspects that the Roadrunners struggled with early on last year. So it's a really good sign to see what the power play has been able to do early on. And our new goaltender, Jackson Stauber, started the second game of the back-to-back, and he looked really good as well in net. And now him and Matthew Villalta are going to be a really strong crease together as the season goes on. And you'll take the 1-1 split in what opening weekend atmosphere was like in Colorado, who's also a really talented team in the specific division.
Austin Pagansky was named as the captain of the team. Was that any surprise? Was it anticipated that he would be the guy that would wear the C on his jersey?
Honestly, I wouldn't say it was a complete shocker, but the thing is, anyone on this team could easily be the captain. But I think what makes it so unique is the path that Austin Pagansky has had in the last few years. He last played 2 years ago, played for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, went all the way to the Calder Cup final, played in every game there too. And then last year started on the PTO, and he wasn't even a starter when the year began. He sat a couple of games as a scratch, but once the Roadrunners started dealing with the call-ups and the injuries like every AHL team does, Austin Pagansky was one of those underlier guys that stepped up, and he statistically had his best season, scoring the 14 goals, which was his career high, and then he started the playoff games as well. So wouldn't say it was a complete shocker, but just the journey he has had was quite a surprise to see that he's going to be leading this 24-25 team.
We're chatting with the new play-by-play man for the Tucson Roadrunners, Jonathan Schaefer. Jonathan, you mentioned the term in terms of Austin Pagansky. You mentioned the term PTO. For folks that don't really know what that professional tryout situation is, how would you categorize how that works?
Yeah, so it's a professional tryout, and all leagues do it: NHL, AHL, and ECHL, and I'm sure some other leagues around the hockey world have that assessment as well, or maybe in different terms of it. But yeah, it's pretty much just a tryout for a player, and PTOs can last just a few games. It can last a few weeks or a couple months. It just depends how many games the player initially plays. But a PTO is it's literally trying out for a team. So the fact that Pagansky was literally trying out for the Roadrunners last year, became an everyday player. He earned the AHL contract for the rest of the season. Then he signed an extension this past offseason. So to go from PTO, trying out for the team, and now becoming a captain is quite remarkable.
Chatting with Jonathan Schaefer, the new broadcaster for the Tucson Roadrunners, has been with the team. This is your third year total with the team now, is that correct?
Second year.
Second year. So last year was your first year. So when you found out you were going to be in the lead seat, what was that feeling like for you? Obviously apprenticing under Adrian Denny last year, and with Adrian getting the chance to go up and work with the big club, what was it like for you to find out that you were going to be the guy calling the games this year?
It was quite crazy. If I'm being honest, I had a hunch over the summer, just thinking like there's no way he's not going to try to go to the NHL with Utah because he's from Utah. He's from Salt Lake. So I had a hunch it could happen, but I just wanted to keep focusing on the work I had to do at the time, and I didn't want to kind of distract me from the work I had to get done, from getting ready for the season. But ironically enough, it was September 25th, and it was the 1-year anniversary since I had joined the Roadrunners organization, or at least my first day. Walked into the office. Adrian asked me to just sit down with him. I thought we were just going to go over, the usual stuff we go through. He told me happy anniversary. I said, yeah, thanks. It's cool being here for a year. And then he just broke the news pretty bluntly, just saying, I'm going to Utah. And, obviously I had the question of, what does that mean for me? Am I getting promoted to the play-by-play, or is it something that's going to happen down the line, and are we bringing someone else in? And that's when we had the discussion with our team president, Bob Hoffman, and they asked me to do it, and of course I said yes. And it's been a crazy few weeks just stepping into the main role, but it's been awesome. It's been really fun, and this is what I've always wanted to do as a kid, and it's pretty much like a dream come true. I didn't think I would ever be 23 years old, just less than 2 years out of college, and already play-by-play for an NHL or an AHL team. So I'm happy for it, and I have so many people to thank to get me here. Of course, Adrian being the top of the list of people to thank, because he set me up so well for this situation. And from what I know, it was always the plan for me to take over. We just didn't know when and where, of course. But it's the perfect situation for everybody. I'm just happy to be here, and it's going to be a really good team to call for, and I'm just super excited.
So how would you describe your broadcast style, Jonathan, and who some of your hockey influences have been?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I mean, my style is honestly pretty similar to Adrian's, just because I've heard him for, I heard him for 72 games, 72 plus games with playoffs last year. So I wanted to try to keep his style. And then Nick Nolenberger, my old boss when I was an intern with the San Jose Barracuda, I kind of liked his style too. And, I guess just from those two, just listening to those guys over the years in person, based off of people from TV or radio, I don't really have anyone in mind that I wouldn't say copy, but try to inspire from, I guess, when it comes to my style. And my style is going to come over time. I mean, I did do play-by-play in college, but it's, I haven't done it in a professional level as long as, I've done it in college. So I'm still finding my style, and, there's going to be some games where the style's working and then maybe some that are not, but I know I'll find my groove eventually. I mean, I have 70 games now, hopefully plus playoffs, to get good at it. And, it's just like playing the sport. It takes repetition. It takes practice. It takes looking back at the film / listening to the audio of the games and determining what I can do better and, what I need to work on and not need to work on. So it's really similar aspect when it comes to that. And I know over time that I'll become really good, and eventually I'll sound like Adrian. So that's just kind of how I do it.
All right. So what was it that I didn't get a chance to hear? I'll have to go back and listen to the highlights to get your first AHL goal. Was it was it everything you thought it would be? Did you like the way the call came off for you?
Well, actually, last season I did do one play-by-play game.
Okay.
For the team. It was near the end of the season, but the play happened a bit too fast for me to determine who exactly scored. Again, first time doing play-by-play in almost a year, because I didn't do it at all for the Roadrunners, and it was, again, that was also kind of a short term, like, hey, you're taking over play-by-play for this one game while Adrian did TV. But this season, my first goal call for the regular season was pretty good. Beginning of the third period, we're about 40 seconds in Colorado. Eagles do this thing where all their fans stand up and start just cheering super loud, ringing their bells. Team was, I believe the Eagles were up 2-0 at the time, and we had started the period off with a power play, and Igor Sokolov just had a beautiful pass down the middle from Andrag Azino, and he digged his way in and scored, and it just silenced the crowd, and you probably just only heard me screaming while we scored that goal. Because we ended up losing the game, but it split it up 2-1 at the time, and it was just one of those crowd silencers. So that was the first regulation goal call this year that I had that I was really happy for. And yeah, that's also the thing too. It's just trying to pick up on the game as it's moving quick, because hockey is probably the fastest sport out there, and I think it's probably the hardest to do play-by-play for.
Jonathan Schaefer, the new play-by-play broadcaster for the Roadrunners, is our guest. So gala tomorrow night. Jonathan, can people still get into that, or is it sold out?
No, yeah, not sold out. Tickets are available at TucsonRoadrunners.com. And, yeah, if you guys want to have a chance to come meet the players, get some autographs, hearing from our team president, Bob Hoffman, and head coach Steve Potvin. And we're going to do a Q&A with Austin Bagansky and the other assistant captains. So, yeah, it's going to be a really good time. And what we're happy about doing the gala this time is it's at night, so it gives people a better opportunity to come and see it, because beforehand it was always a luncheon, and obviously luncheon during the weekday people have work. So that's why we switched it to a gala at night. And even though it is the word gala, which usually means fancy, it's still a pretty casual thing. We want fans to show up with their Roadrunner gear and to show up with things ready to sign by our teams, and our guys are going to be in their jerseys as well. So, yeah, we're excited to kind of have it a new way this year, and everyone's still going to be there, and, just excited to hear from Bob and Steve on the season and our captains, and it's going to be a great time.
And then the Texas Stars will open up the homestand on Saturday night, 7 o'clock face-off with a quick turnaround for a 4 o'clock game with the Stars on Sunday. Jonathan, looking forward to your calls. Looking forward to having you on our show all season to talk some hockey.
Thanks so much, David. Really appreciate it. And, yeah, looking forward to being on the show more this season.
All right. Jonathan Schaefer, the new play-by-play man for your Tucson Roadrunners. Lost 3-1 on opening night in Colorado. Came back Saturday to win 4-2 over the Eagles. So 1-1 coming back. Texas Stars for 2. And then the homestand will continue the following weekend with Friday and Saturday games against the Bakersfield Condors. A lot of stuff opening night. Red carpet and tailgate on Saturday. Sunday family day. Family packs for the 4 o'clock game on Sunday. El Lazo de Tucson night on October the 25th. That'll be the Friday night game at 7. And then Ghouls and Goals. Ghouls and Goals. On Saturday, October the 26th, for the wrap-up of the series with the Bakersfield Condors. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the Fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Collisions that are reported with some light slowing. I-10 westbound I-10 near Alvernon. Final clearing eastbound I-10 near Congress, Mountain Avenue north of Speedway Boulevard. Some backups on southbound La Cholla at Ahaway, more slowing at Ajo and Mission. 94 tomorrow, 88 Thursday. There's a 50% chance of rain Friday and 77 the high on Friday. And it's 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Welcome to the ultimate playground for online social casino enthusiasts. Get ready to live the Chumba life and play over 100 online casino-style games for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
NFL Thursday Night Football plays here.
Albert and Ayuk out to the right. Purdy to throw. Steps up. Throws over the middle. Into the end zone. Touchdown. It's George Kittle's second of the night.
This Thursday, it's the Denver Broncos taking on the New Orleans Saints. Coverage begins at 4:30 p.m.
It has to happen when they go to sleep tonight, and then tomorrow the focus is all on New Orleans.
We are Tucson's home for the National Football League. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Does Purdue have anything left? I'm Sammy Pete, here to help you beat the books with BetQL. Purdue's improbable comeback came up short against Illinois. Now it's Oregon rolling into town. Ducks coming off a huge win against Ohio State, laying 27.5. And the BetQL model says to lay it. BetQL has Oregon minus 27.5, a 5-star best bet. I'm Sammy P. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Save big during Royal's Autumn Sales Event. Save up to $16,454 on a new GMC Sierra 1500 and save $15,204 off a new 23 Buick Enclave. Or choose a lease with nothing due at signing and all taxes and fees included. $273 a month leases the 24 Buick Encore for 36 months. Lease the 24 GMC Terrain for $299 a month for 39 months. Or lease the 24 GMC Sierra 1500 for $488 a month for 24 months. All leases with nothing due at signing and all taxes and fees included. See dealer for details. Leases through GM Financial. OAC mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year. Sierra and Enclave OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. G8016, B33476, B33857, G8420. Offers end 10/31/24. Save big now at Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
Alaskan AC has been keeping people chill since 1972.
Oh, chill. Cool. I get it. It's a theme.
No, it's not.
It's not?
The theme is 72, as in 1972.
Is that why you dress like that?
$72 for an Alaska vacation.
Ooh.
$72 for a service call.
Neat.
Even $72 off any repair.
Whoa.
This month, it's 72, 72, 72 to celebrate 1972, the year Alaskan AC opened its doors.
And everybody was kung fu fighting. Everyone was streaking, too. Let's stick to what we do best.
That's right. A $72 Alaska vacation is the perfect way to prepare for the upcoming season. It's so good, we guarantee no breakdowns.
The $72 service call makes it easy to check any concerns. And saving $72 off any repair means that you can buy one of those cool banana seats for your rad bike. You have a weird definition of cool.
72, 72, 72. This month at AlaskanAC.com.
Bingo. All right, Bill, we're recording now. And please put your phone on silent.
Oh, where is my phone?
Let's go, man. Okay. Get it together over there, player. Go ahead. Pick on me the way that you want to.
I wouldn't say that to my son.
Just go.
All right, why would people want to listen to the Sims Complete podcast?
A father-son dynamic duo talking about the game of football.
We do a lot of quarterback and coach talks. It's fun. I love doing this. It's been awesome.
Sims Complete. Check us out on the Believe Network. Appreciate it.
Just search Believe, B-L-E-A-V, wherever you listen.
Can't find the Wildcats on your TV? Don't worry. We always have your back when it comes to the big game.
Oh, my God. It is unbelievable.
You will never miss a game if you have your radio locked on 1290.
Such a good feeling to be a Wildcat.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Zach Gelb with Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. I don't care what anyone in the New York Jets organization says. Aaron Rodgers clearly got Robert Saleh fired. The Jets then lost to the Bills to fall to 2-4 in the season, and today Aaron Rodgers traded for his best friend in Devontae Adams. This move, though, is the Jets putting lipstick on a pig, and Gang Green, even after making this big splash, will continue to underachieve and be one stinky hot mess. I'm Zach Gelb.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
BK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. To get the chance to talk to Jonathan Schaefer, the new broadcaster for the Tucson Roadrunners. Again, Gala, or Gala, however you like to say it. We say Gala. Gala tomorrow, not a dress-up gala, but just a fun gala, a nighttime event to celebrate the start of the hockey season tomorrow night. Tickets are still available for that event at Tucson Civic Center. We will be down there. We're going to take the show over there tomorrow, so we'll broadcast from 3 to 6, hopefully get a chance to chat with some of the players and get excited about the hockey season. Opening night Saturday, so it worked out perfectly with the day football game for your Arizona Wildcats. You got plenty of time to go see your Cats, go grab some dinner after the ball game, and then get down to Tucson Arena and see the Roadrunners take on the Texas Stars on Saturday night with tip-off, or I should say face-off, at 7 o'clock. So all kinds of good stuff happening this weekend. Again, it's a busy weekend. You've got volleyball tomorrow. We're going to hear from the head coach of the volleyball team coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We got into our interview a little bit late there with Jonathan, so we'll have Charita Stubbs coming up for you in the next hour and get her some thoughts from her on a number of different subjects. Also, soccer is home this weekend as well. So another busy sports weekend here in Southern Arizona wrapped around homecoming. A lot of folks are going to be coming back. If you're going to be coming back, if you're listening to the show and you're coming back from somewhere of distance, we'd love to hear from you what you're most excited about this homecoming weekend. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in. The Arizona men's and women's golf team, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. Both those teams are over in Scotland right now playing in the St. Andrews Links Collegiate, both the men and the women. And if you've seen some of the pictures, I mean, it doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter what time of year you play golf. It's St. Andrews, whether you're playing in the midst of the summer when they play the British Open or you're playing in the midst of October. It always looks cold there. Is it ever not cold in Scotland?
You're talking about a country that is entirely an island. I mean, yeah, it's going to be cold at all times.
Oh, my goodness. People always look like, I mean, the ladies were, and then the ladies more so, some of them had the masks on their faces. They had their winter caps on. Kind of, they reminded me, we were joking the other day about how Kyler Murray seems to always have his winter cap on, even when it's like 115 degrees. He's got his winter cap on, but that's what the Arizona women's golf team, they were all in their winter caps playing their round today. So it was individual play for the first 2 days, and then it's match play tomorrow for both the men and the women. So let's let you hear what happened on the men's side. Zach Polo finishing big for U of A.
Talk about it, how difficult that finishing stretch would be on the back nine. Now, Polo for the win.
And Zach Polo victorious at the home of golf. While so many of the men struggled coming in, it was the opposite for Zach Polo. Getting the job done on the back nine. He is the individual champ of the St. Andrews Links Collegiate.
Now, just 4 teams played in this event, so it wasn't like a big tournament. You had Arizona on the men's side. You had Arizona, Northwestern, St. Andrews, which is the host, obviously the host, and then Howard University. How about that? Howard University was over there as well. So Arizona won the tournament on the men's side. Overall, they finished at -3, so they beat they finished at even par. They finished at even par for the tournament and beat Northwestern by 6 shots. Zach Polo winning the individual title at -5. He won by 2 shots over Cameron Adam from Northwestern, and his teammate Philip Jakubik also finished at -3 on the event. Let's hear from Zach Polo, who chatted with the Golf Channel after winning the St. Andrews Links Collegiate.
feels great to win, and feels great to be here with the team and enjoy this awesome experience. And came down the stretch, got to get a few putts to go in, which was key for the victory.
It really was. You made something like 5 putts in a row that were pretty crucial. Did you know where you stood at that point in relation to the tournament?
Sort of. I mean, I was looking every now and then, but I was trying not to look too much. But I kind of knew I was in contention, didn't really know exactly where I was. So kind of just trying to put it as good together as I could on the back nine. So.
Now, we switched from individual into team tomorrow, and you guys get to play on the old course. What are some of the things you're most looking forward to for yourself and for your team for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, the chance to play the old course, it doesn't get much better than that. So, and Coach just told me today that it was we get to play all 18, so I didn't know that. So that'll be cool.
All right, so that was Zach Polo, the winner out there. So this is the second tournament that Zach has won as an Arizona Wildcat. So, again, congratulations to him. The women also playing out at St. Andrews, and they got off to a pretty decent start to things yesterday. Their tournament, again, yesterday and today as well. Northwestern, same 4 teams, Northwestern, Arizona, St. Andrews, and Howard on the women's side as well. On the women's side, however, Northwestern got the victory. They finished +4, besting the Wildcats by 4 shots overall. And then on the individual side, it was Ashley Young winning the trophy at -5, 5 under. She was 3 shots better than Arizona's Charlotte Back. And again, it'll be match play for the 2 big schools, Arizona and Northwestern on both sides tomorrow. And then the 2 smaller schools, Howard and St. Andrews, will play in match play as well tomorrow. But just really, how cool for both of these programs to get a chance to go over and play at one of the famed golf courses in the game that houses the British Open every so often. I think it was like 3 or 4 years they have the British Open at St. Andrews, and so just an awesome opportunity for these kids on the Arizona Wildcats golf teams to have a chance to go over and play some golf overseas. And Zach Polo, again, coming back with the win on the men's side. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Lots still in store for you. We're going to break down Arizona football as we always do. Glenn Howe was hot. He was hot when he was talking to me this morning about some of the things that he picked up on watching the tape. Well, we'll kind of go over what we saw, give you our breakdown, figure out what needs to be fixed as the Colorado Buffaloes come to town. And as we said earlier, looks like Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn will both be playing in the game on Saturday here in Tucson. Let's hear from Dragon Ball, who is going to tell you everything that is happening around sports here in Southern Arizona.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
Well, we just talked about right now, good news for the Arizona golf team out at St. Andrews. The men and women's team dominating out the legendary St. Andrews in Scotland. The men managed to go and finish first for the second straight day. Zach Polo taking the individual title that you just heard there. The women maintained their spot at second overall at the St. Andrews Lynx Collegiate. Both teams will be finishing up that tournament tomorrow. And some early season injuries in the NBA to watch out for in the preseason. Philadelphia 76ers star Paul George left the team's Monday contest against the Hawks with a reported hyperextended knee. Now it's being described as a bone bruise. George is saying that he's not too concerned with the season opener slated for October 23rd against Giannis and the Bucks. And the championship series continues in the American League today, but the NLCS saw the Dodgers' recent domination on the mound come to an end as a leadoff homer by Francisco Lindor set the pace for the Mets.
Lindor's been the man the Mets have counted on all along, and it seems like every time they've needed a big hit, every time they've needed a spark, he's provided it.
Swing on a high fly ball, well hit to right. Betts going back. This might go, and it is gone. A home run. Francisco Lindor just pulled a Lenny Dykstra as he leads off a game in the postseason with a home run, and the Mets take an instant 1-0 lead.
Well, the Mets need somebody to do something. It's Francisco Lindor, a leadoff home run.
Now the Dodgers shutout streak is done. 1-0 Mets. What an at-bat by Lindor.
And again, adding a grand slam later by Mark Vientos, the Mets evened up that series going back to New York here on Wednesday. For the ALCS right now, it looks like it's 1-0 for the Yankees, and a foul ball that was almost caught. I believe it was caught. That's going to be out number 2.
Caught.
And it's still the bottom of the first inning. Tanner Bybee now has thrown 20 pitches. Yankees with a 1-0
Will
lead there.
Brennan throwing the gloves at him.
And that'll be your Wildcats Radio 2020 Sports Update here from Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Earlier collisions that occurred westbound I-10 near Alvernon Way, some light slowing there. Final clearing stages for an earlier collision eastbound I-10 near Congress. Some slowing Aja Way and Mission Road. 94 tomorrow is the high, 88 Thursday. On Friday, 77 the high and a 50% chance of rain, and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Time with family, laughs with friends, and cash back? Discover's got you covered on the last one. That's because Discover doubles all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Tucson, remember, 1290 is the one and only home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. When you're listening to Brian Jeffries call the game, you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Bear down, Arizona. Your Wildcats are back at home this Saturday to take on Colorado. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. with the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show at 8:30 a.m. live from the U of A Mall. Catch all the action on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Peter, Hothead, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KCUB Tucson, Cumulus Media Station. The one and only home of Arizona football. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live press conferences. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
I answered the call. Together, we fought for our nation and its people. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will continue to support my country and my community. Then and now, Semper Fidelis remains my promise. Always faithful, always Marine.
Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out,
They drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names. David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 3 on this Tuesday. I hope you're having a great afternoon on your way to do something fun, maybe a little dinner out, a little athletic, high school athletic or youth event, maybe. There's lots of stuff going on. We'll have to check in and see what's happening with girls flag football. That's heating up this season, and we got some big high school football games coming up as well this weekend. We had a really awesome time out Friday night at Micah Mountain High School. Want to thank all those folks for having us this past Friday night. It's almost Friday night, sponsored by D&H Air Conditioning and Heating. Micah Mountain won the game 59-7 over Pueblo, and now they are getting ready for their showdown this Friday night at home against Canyon del Oro, the defending Conference 4A champion. So that should be an exciting one for sure out in Vail this Friday night. Had a chance today to talk to the head volleyball coach at the University of Arizona, Charita Stubbs. The ladies are back home this week for a pair of games at McHale Center. They will play tomorrow night and Friday at home. In fact, 3 straight home games for Arizona Volleyball as they'll welcome in they'll welcome in Colorado and Houston. I think I said the Kansas schools earlier. But they'll welcome in Colorado tomorrow night, Houston on Friday night, and then Arizona State next Thursday. So 3 straight home games with an opportunity to try to maybe get right. They've lost 4 of their first 5 in the Big 12 Conference. Some different rules this year in NCAA women's volleyball. They're, for the first time, playing with 2 liberos on the court. If they so choose, they don't have to play with 2 liberos, but the opportunity is there if teams want to add a second libero onto the court at the same time. And Charita Stubbs talked about some of the positives she's seeing from having 2 liberos in the ball game and how those 2 are working with each other.
I think it allows them to be in their strengths, which then gets the most out of them. Brenna comes in as a good passer, learning the pace of the game in terms of being a defender. Haven, who has struggled in the past passing, but was a good defender, but she's passed some great numbers the last 2 weeks. But nonetheless, it gives us just more fire and power behind it. That one match where I took Haven out of it, it was because we just needed some better options because Jordan was struggling in the back row. So that's one of the advantages with the position. You can put them in, take them out, put them in, take them out.
What have you assessed just kind of are some of the challenges the team has had through these first 5 conference games?
Serving. And we talked about that during preseason, but once again, I don't want to beat them up for it because the key is if we're going to play against a good team, we're going to have to serve the ball to keep pressure on them. And ASU is a great passing team, great defending team. So, the nice thing, if you get it in, it gives you an option to be able to play some defense behind it. But we also know that if we give them free balls with that fast offense they ran, it was going to be tough. And so it was a great environment to play in. I hate to say that about the people up the road. But they had 4,630 fans, and I'm saying that number because I want 4,700 for our match next week. But nonetheless, that's been one of the biggest challenges, and just being consistent across the board. We'll have some players hot and then some players not hot that we've relied on in the past. But we had a good week of practice here, if you want to call it a week.
Obviously, this is a critical 3 games here. At 1 and 4 for you to kind of maybe put yourselves in a nice position for down the stretch. Do you look at it as, we really got to at least take 2 of these or all 3?
Well, one of the things that we say is that we want to defend our home court at all costs, and that's really important. We're still in set 3, and so we're talking about that a lot with the players, making sure that we're ready to go to finish strong in set 3 so that we can have a better start in set 4. But, we had, I didn't really look at everyone else's schedule, but our schedule was tough in terms of going into the Big 12, playing ranked opponents and opponents receiving votes. But all of that's just an excuse. And yes, I want to win the next 2 matches, but it's one match at a time and one day at a time. And, Colorado's a good team, so they're going to come in here and they're very statistical in what they do. So they are all about numbers. And so the key is for us to be able to play well in our numbers and then have some people ready when it's not their number.
Jalen's really raised your game since conference, except for that one-off match, that TCU match. What has helped her be more consistent, especially since conference play?
At the end of the day, I'm going to attribute it to being able to practice the entire time, just so she's not warming up in sets or feeling like there's a lot of pressure on her to perform right off the bat when she hasn't been able to do much in the front row. Now, she's always practiced, don't get me wrong, but, she just wasn't doing everything at the net. And that's very common with fifth-year players as well, but it's just the norm.
We saw Ziona do that her fifth year, that it was a career year, something that she had not really done before. Is that what you're seeing from Jalen?
I am seeing that from her. I want to continue to see it. I want to continue to see her do that and just feel comfortable in the role that she walked into, not really understanding, but willing to do. And so I'm proud of her right now.
You'd mentioned Jordan struggling a little bit on the back row. Is that something that's fixable? Is that something where you have to kind of just pick and choose where to use her, when to use her back there?
You have to use her at the right time in the right situation. So depending on who the opponent is, we got to put as much firepower in front of them as possible, and it will keep pressure off of Carly of having to do everything. This week of practice, she came in, got a lot of good reps. And for Jordan, it's not a matter of can she do it. It's just can she stay calm to do it versus allowing her brain to get too fast or be too delayed. And once again, it's common when you're learning to be a sixth rotation player. It's probably the hardest position to go from being a part-time player to a full-time player.
Have you evaluated Avery through the conference phase?
Avery's been okay. She's been good. I think she struggled a little bit up at ASU, but Anna went in and stepped in and did a great job. And like I said before, nothing is a sure fit, but you have to name someone as a starter. But she's a freshman, so she'll go through the woes and flows. And like these type of matches, she thrives in because we're home and she wants to do well. And typically right after she doesn't do so well, she comes back and does a phenomenal job.
What are the most common mistakes that freshmen set?
Setting the wrong person at the wrong time or not setting the right. So in club, no one really talks about why you set where you set. So typically you'll have a great hitter on your team and you just dish them the ball every time. Well, when you get to college, it doesn't work like that. You have to be able to spread the offense a little bit. And so for us, we've been talking a lot about using the back row more in system versus out of system. It's obvious when you're out of system, and then an attacker tries to do too much. The key is to set that person when you're in system, and it keeps the blockers honest.
And in the past, there was a lot of stats given to the setters, and I know Anna said when, her first year or so that it was too much for her sometimes. Do you guys still do a lot of stats, and how is that working with them?
So, yes, can you give me that? I want to talk about it. So what we do, thank you. What we do is we give the information a day after, 2 days before type thing. And so one of the things we talk about is the setter distribution on a perfect pass and a good pass. So when we're going to play Colorado, for example, they commit block, they read, they do a lot of different things, and they're banking on the odds of the ball going there, and then we'll take those chances. And so that's what we talk to them about in terms of setting. And then we also talk about it on when we're out of system, where's the ball going and why, and what hitter is set in this rotation versus that rotation. When you're a good setter, back to your question, when you're a good setter, you use all of your hitters, but at the end of the day, you put the ball in the hands of your terminator. And so I can't remember which match it was where Jordan and Jalen were struggling a little bit, and Avery didn't know who to set because it's like, okay, I put the ball in an attackable window, I set the person who's in a position to score, I set my hot hitter. Well, neither one of my pins are my hot hitter right now. What do I do? That's when freshmen struggle.
How do you feel in general about the passing game this year?
It's better than it was last year. So, I mean, I'll take that and run and smile and be happy. But it's something that we will always work on, because if we can pass, I believe we can play with anyone. We have the physicality to be able to play and, keep ourselves in matches and sneak some away. Whereas last year, it was like, okay, if we don't pass, we're in trouble. And so now we're in a better position where, 2 passes are good passes. Back when I played, it was a 3 or bust. And now you can, the kids are so much more physical. You can pass a 2 ball and still be in a position to score.
What do you want to see most this weekend?
I want to see us compete from beginning to end. I want to see us not be afraid at the moment. Colorado has gone, they've had 8 5-set matches, which means they understand what it means to battle and compete the entire time, so they're not going to quit. And so I think that'll be a good challenge for us. If we're up, they're going to still be there fighting. If we're down and they're up, they're going to still fight to finish it off. So the key is for us to battle and compete the entire time.
Go ahead.
Do you have any thoughts on what's going on with San Jose State and teams opting not to play them?
How do I say this? Katie didn't prepare me for this. I think that it's a hard place to be in. I think that when you have your own values and your belief system, but you're being asked possibly to go against it, or you're okay with it. A lot of people in this generation is like, hey, nothing matters. It doesn't matter to me. Whereas there's others who have strong convictions. I think it's very hard. I think that I feel for San Jose State. I feel for the opponents because it's a no-win situation. I think that media will abuse you in a heartbeat for having an opinion, and I think that everyone should have their own opinion and be able to walk in that and it be okay.
How would you handle that with your team?
I would allow the team to decide what is best for them. I would give people who do not want to be a part of it for whatever their reasons are not to do it. And then if we can't field a team that is going to be a competitive team, then we wouldn't play either.
All right, that is the head coach of your Arizona Volleyball team, Charita Stubbs, talking about a number of things heading into this weekend's 2 home matches against Colorado. It won't be Colorado and Utah, but it will be Colorado and Houston coming to town this weekend, Wednesday and Friday. And then ASU a week from Thursday. So 3 straight home matches for Arizona Volleyball, now 1-4 in conference play, with a chance to try to maybe make some ground, make some headway, and get themselves into a nicer position in the Big 12. Again, there at the end, talking about the situation. And if you haven't been following the situation at San Jose State, San Jose State's roster includes a player who's transgender. A number of colleges have opted not to play the Spartans. One of those schools that opted not to play was Southern Utah, who came here to Tucson earlier this year and whose head coach had played for a year on Arizona's beach volleyball staff. We had a chance to talk to that young lady when they were in town earlier this year. So the most recent team that has opted not to play San Jose State is Nevada. The players said they were not going to play. The university came out with a statement and said, well, yeah, you are going to play because that decision is not representative of this university and our goals and our the way that we think. And so that match is still 11 days away. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. But it's starting to build some steam as this season goes along, and you heard there the thoughts of the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. We won't have time to dive into this today, but we certainly will, because I think it's a story that deserves some time to talk about it. But I wanted you to hear the coach's thoughts as she had a chance to address it as we asked her during the press conference today, and we'll have those thoughts again up on our way. In fact, you can go to our YouTube page right now. If you missed the interview, you can go down to our YouTube page at Wildcats Radio 1290, and the full entire interview from the press conference today with Charita Stubbs is up over there as well. And if you have any thoughts on that, you can, we're going to talk some football coming up, but you can chime in on our Facebook page, chime in on our Twitter page at Wildcats1290. Download our app. Be sure to do that. All kinds of great stuff on our app. You can watch the show on our app. You can see all of those interviews. That interview with Charita is on our app as well. So download our app. Our app slaps. Text the word app, APP, to 520-848-1290. I'll send you a link. You can download our app, and you can have everything you need to know about what's happening in sports here in Arizona and really around the region as well. All kinds of great stuff about your Cardinals. We were even still following that hockey team that moved away because, again, we are somewhat connected to them. All right, we're going to talk Arizona Wildcats football. We're going to break it down with Glenn Howe. That's coming up next. We've got cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Orange Grove and Camino de la Tierra and Orange Grove, and a crash at 5th and Columbus. Columbus and 5th Street, some slowing at Ahaway and Mission Road, and also some busy travel on southbound La Cholla at Ahaway. And for your weather, 94 tomorrow, Thursday 88, a 50% chance of rain, and 77 on Friday. It's 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Luxe Cravings Box from Taco Bell. For $7, indulge in a Chicken Chalupa Supreme, beefy 5-layer burrito, and Doritos Locos Taco, plus chips and a drink. Get yours at Taco Bell for a limited time while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Excludes freezes. Tax extra.
We are Tucson's home of the NFL. Sunday, Thursday night football.
Wide open for Mahomes.
The NFL playoffs.
He high steps it in for the touchdown.
And the Super Bowl. This is Tucson Sports Station, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. There's a rumor that summer could finally be coming to an end. A big relief for us. But your car is probably still feeling the effects of the brutal summer heat. So now's the perfect time to stop by any of the 14 area Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care locations for a complimentary check of your brakes, batteries, coolant levels, and wiper blades. Those are just a few of the things to help keep your car road trip ready. And when those cooler overnight temperatures finally do arrive, some of you will see your low pressure warning light come on. But don't worry, you can stop by anytime for a free tire inspection and air pressure check. And if your tire sensor really is a problem, we can fix that too. Mention this ad and get free installation and tire rebalancing with the purchase of any new tire pressure sensor. Visit jackfurriers.com for even more specials. And for fast, friendly service, you can make an appointment online, call ahead, or just drive up and find out why Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the locals' favorite for tires and automotive repair. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl. You know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
At Wildcats Radio 1290, we're not just radio. We're your source in Tucson for digital marketing solutions. We specialize in creating strategic and effective marketing campaigns designed to get results for your business. Whether you want to target a local, regional, or a national audience, we have the right solution for your business. Call the Wildcats Radio 1290 business line at 520-887-1000 and put Cumulus Digital Media to work for you.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. The WNBA is riding a hot streak. With a meteoric rise in popularity in 2024, the league will expand to 13 teams next season, adding the Golden State Valkyries, who will play their home games in San Francisco. The new franchise named Natalie Nakase as its first head coach. She was an assistant with Becky Hammon and the Aces the last 3 seasons, helping them capture back-to-back championships. Nakase also spent time in the NBA working with the Los Angeles Clippers. Now Nakase is charged with guiding the Valkyries as they look towards their inaugural season in the ultra-competitive WNBA.
I'm going to pour all my energy and my heart and my soul into this organization, and
I just can't wait to build a championships team because that's what the fan base here deserves.
In addition to Golden State, the WNBA will also add franchises in Portland and Toronto. They both begin play in 2026. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's the Wildcat Hour, which means it's time for our Arizona Insiders.
Am I late?
No, my boy, you're just in time. Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A athletics and happenings around the Big 12. So bear down, Cardinal and Navy, and let's talk Cats. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, joined as always by my man Glenn Howe, UVA football class of 1985. 41-19 was the score Saturday in Provo, Utah. Not exactly what the Wildcats were looking for. A lot to get into as a result of this game, especially on the offensive side of it. And Glenn, I know you've got a lot on your plate, so I'm going to let you go first. What was your top takeaway after watching the tape?
Man, I tell you, Dave. Yeah, I look at the film. This is the second time I looked at it. I looked at it twice. You know, we're just so close. And after listening to Coach Atkins today on his presser, you know, they're saying the same thing. They're close. There's just a few things that a couple guys are not getting the block here. They're not running the right route. They're not pushing the guy. It's the small little things that they know this team is talented. We've got some talented guys on this team, but we got to start trying to put it together. It's just frustrating of how many like just missed assignments and alignments and things like that. I think are what you're seeing. That's just destroying this team. We're cutting ourselves. We got to take the knife out of their hands because we're cutting ourselves by small little cuts, and we're just killing ourselves. It's just small little cut here with a missed assignment, then a turnover, then all those different things that we have going. That it's just continuously just cutting away from our wins, man. Just really not. It's not good.
Let's start obviously with the offensive side of the ball, and let's start up front. One of the things Matt Atkins said is that they got that Noah Fafita's taken too many hits, and he categorized it that there's a number of things involved in that, but obviously in terms of the offensive line, what are some of the things that you're seeing with the blocking techniques?
Well, what I'm seeing is that you're getting some guys that are just not, getting the right fit, when they're when they're blocking, they're not, they're letting guys cross their face, which is just kills me. When they cross their face and they get penetration, all you got to do is it's about your steps. It's just about your steps, getting your right steps, and not letting anybody cross your face and just blowing up the play. Guys not getting, missing a guy getting up into the hole where they could have blocked him, but they just didn't see him. I don't know how they didn't see him. And and then it's just those small little things. We clean those up, Our backs, our run game is good. We got some really good backs, man. The backs are blocking better on pass protection. I think are doing a little bit better on pass protection, and we just got to clean things up. And I know we've been like Mr. Clean for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but we got to clean it up.
Chatting with Glenn Howe, Arizona Insider. It's Wildcat Breakdown, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, choose chill. Glenn, one of the things that just, I guess, has bothered me all season with this offense is just some of the routes I'm seeing that they're giving Noah Fafita, and especially I want to pinpoint one particular route, or one route tree that was late in the fourth quarter when they were driving to try to score, and they had 3 opportunities from the 3-yard line, goal to go, and they got to third down, and they put Tetro McMillan in motion to set up that 3-stack on one side. And then sometimes it just looks like the routes are not, and I call them dummy routes, because they just look like they're false routes to try to get somebody else open, or you're not really running anything in particular. And I think I'm seeing just way too many of these routes where, it's like, how are you getting open running what you're running there? It's like some guys are just running to a line and stopping, or running to a spot and stopping, or not running with any inclination to try to get open. And this is where I talked about last week. I just don't know that they're giving this quarterback enough options to help himself with.
Well, I do agree with some of that, okay, but I also want to input that they need to run those routes hard. They need to run them hard. They need to be aggressive when the ball is thrown to them. The pick that was in the end zone that we got from the safety, if he would have, instead of waiting for the ball, went and got the ball, he may have got that ball.
Well, now I will say, let me stop you there, though. I will say that I asked Brent Brennan about that yesterday, and he said that was that pass was actually supposed to go to Kean, but because Noah got hit as he threw it, it sailed on him into looking like the pass was supposed to go to Montana. But go on.
Yeah, but anyway, he could have still got it. I thought he still could have got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but some of those routes, they have to be aggressive. If you're trying to run a dummy route, it's got to be very aggressive. You got to be able to sell it. You got to sell it. You got to really sell it. And on that particular play, they weren't really selling it that hard. And they got to be able to do that.
And the other thing is, I think that sometimes with when you've got these dummy routes, and like you said, it looks like at times they're just kind of jogging into them, or not necessarily running hard into them. It's like you take away. I mean, you have 3 receivers, but now Noah's really down to one guy, on this particular play, everybody was to the right. He spins out of pressure to the left, but he doesn't have anybody on the left side that he can even throw to, and that's why he ended up having to throw the ball out of bounds in this particular instance. And I'm saying to myself, what are we trying to accomplish with what we just ran there? And that's, to me, that's the one thing that I find really frustrating about this passing game at times. Why do you think it was tougher because they ran the ball pretty effectively in the first half of that game, Glenn, but why do you think it was tougher to run it in the second half? What did you see from what BYU was doing?
In the second half, the BYU was having all these guys in the box. They were blitzing. I think the second half, dude, I think they must have blitzed, I would say 60 to 70% of the time.
Yeah, a lot of run
on the
blitzes.
ball. I mean, a lot of run blitzes, everything just coming, just trying to create havoc. And they had some relentless guys that were doing. We were picking it up sometimes, but our backs I think the backs did a great job with no holes and getting it, just trying to get some yards. We got some really good backs, I think, and we just got to be able to burn them. We got to burn them on the hot routes. The hot routes have got to be read, and they got to get rid of the ball fast. That's the thing that I think Noah has to work on, and then also just being in the pocket and being comfortable, not getting out of the pocket, and stepping up into it or finding a lane to throw the ball instead of going backwards or rolling out, so that's, because he's got to be able to feel the pocket a little bit better.
And sometimes, Glenn, it looks like he's rolling into the pressure.
Yes. So that's where he's got to get a better feel for that. And he's going to learn that because what they're trying to do is they're trying to come. They were going with a 4-man rush. They had 2 guys coming straight up, and they're staying right in those lanes where he can throw, and they're being pretty disciplined and then trying to squeeze them in. But, linemen got to work on, trying to get and create some passing lanes for Noah. And they can work on that. And people are just now getting onto that. That's what they're doing with us now. And we have to be able to counter that.
And, Glenn, one of the things, Joe Klatt mentioned this in the broadcast, and then Brent Brennan also talked a little bit about it in his Monday presser, and maybe you can kind of explain it a little bit better, is at times they're not sliding the pressure to meet, like when you talk about the alignment, to meet where the pressure is coming from. Explain to people what that means.
Yeah, usually what we used to have is a Louis and a Roger call. That means you slide to the left on the Louis, you slide to the right. That means that everybody steps to the right, and we have a Roger call. We step to the right, so that's where the pressure's coming. We'll step to the right, and we take a guy to our right, and then we get that. That's where the immediate pressure is. And then sometimes what they'll do is they'll just let that guy come, the outside guy that has nobody to block him, and get rid of him on a hot route. So there's got to be somebody that's going to be hot, and we've got to get rid of the ball fast. It's got to be you got to get rid of it fast, because sometimes you're not going to have enough guys to block all their pressure. So you got to get a hot route and get rid of the ball.
It's Wildcat Breakdown. We are chatting with Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. Arizona Insider brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, choose chill. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. All right, we'll dive into some of the good things we saw from the defense, which, continues to play well, got put in some bad situations in that ball game with the mountain of turnovers from the offensive side, but we'll point out some of what we saw on the defensive side as well as special teams as we break down Arizona's 41-19 loss to BYU. Glenn Howe will stay with us and join us for more. Cricket right now, though, is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. With some backups on La Jolla southbound at Ajo Way, also at Ajo Way and Mission, westbound and southbound slowing. Other collisions, Broadway near Keno Parkway, Wilmot south of Broadway Boulevard, and crash at 5th Street and Columbus. And for your weather, 94 tomorrow, 88 on Thursday is the high, a 50% chance of rain, and 77 on Friday. And it's about 91 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
DJ on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Cricket, did you know that you had a World Cup?
Straight! We're going to have a super over!
Is that like soccer?
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand the terminology.
I don't understand. Left-armed seamer, can you believe it or not? He caught a slip.
You don't want to catch a slip.
I don't know what any of those
That's
things
not good at all.
But congrats to the USA for defeating Pakistan.
Yeah, I like the left-hand seamer, though. That sounds like a good thing.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellows Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia, and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
A promise is potent, born of intention, fueled by commitment. It's seeing things through, always showing up. And we know a thing or two about promises here at Susan G. Komen. Over 40 years ago, we locked arms with you toward one vision: a world without breast cancer. By investing in life-saving research and standing up for patient rights, we are shifting the system so all people everywhere get the care they deserve. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to raise money to honor the best friend you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Ending breast cancer needs all of us. Visit Komen.org and be a part of the Susan G. Komen community today.
The Colorectal Cancer Alliance is a one-stop resource you can trust. Go straight there. Just get to the website.
Go to the Alliance. Go to colorectalcancer.org.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product. Just download the Sleeper app today. Must be present in certain states. Visit sleeper.com for details. Devontae Adams said before that the only thing missing on his resume is the Lombardi Trophy. Well, Devontae, if you truly want to win a Super Bowl, then why did you force your way to the Raiders and then the Jets? Adams claiming he wants to win it all is like someone saying they want to lose weight, and then immediately after saying that, they order a Big Mac with the soda. I'm Zach Gelb.
Football is back, and what better way to celebrate than winning some cash with Sleeper Picks? Sleeper Picks is a fantasy game, but you could win real money. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If your picks are right, you win. You could pick up to 8 players to win up to 100 times your money. And Sleeper has a couple huge offers to kickstart the football season. For new users, Sleeper will match your first deposit with up to $100 credit to your account. If you've already played, Sleeper's got discounted player projections for you every week of the season. So download the Sleeper app now and use promo code BLOCK, and your first deposit will be doubled with a credit up to $100. What are you waiting for? Download Sleeper today and use code BLOCK for a credit up to $100 match on your first deposit. That's code BLOCK. Must be 18 years in most states and in state where it is legal. Promo code and other restrictions apply. Visit sleeper.com. Please wager responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, U of A losing to BYU this past weekend, 41-19. Joined as always by Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. We got into some of the issues on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side, a decent performance by the defense, despite the fact they gave up 34 of their own points in this game, but put into some horrible situations there with the 2 turnovers at the top of the third quarter that led to 10 of those points. But still some things that are starting to kind of, some pieces of the armor that are starting to fall off with the injuries that the Wildcats have suffered, Glenn, and we're starting to see some new faces in there. And again, it's not the same level of play. I mean, we'd be lying to you if we said it was the same level of play. And you talk about assignment and alignment on the offensive side of the ball, and on the first touchdown that BYU got, there was an alignment issue there with Owen Goss.
Yes, and that's something that you had no help on the outside, and you line up inside. That's something that you're going to learn, and you got to learn the coverage and who's behind you and who's helping you. I think there's a lot of things that, unless they had a different coverage, that I wouldn't know. I'll be corrected if I thought that you should be lined up inside when you have help inside. It's something that they have to learn. These guys are going to get experience. We got to be more aggressive in the alley, being attacking on the run. I thought we should have been a little bit more, and losing our guys, Stooks, and the other guys that we have with Gunner and all those guys. I mean, we lost a little bit of aggressiveness, and without having Jacob in there to really set the tone, that really kind of hurt us. And it hurt us. That did hurt. I ain't going to say kind of. It hurt us. It hurt us. And, getting him back is going to be great.
And it's little things that pop up. Like one of the things that I saw, and again, I didn't, Kamu Kayahue had to come into play for Jacob Manu. I called him Cam in the press conference the other day, and I think I confused Coach Brett Brennan. But so Kamu came in, and one of the things we've seen from Jacob where he's really improved is his ability to drop into coverage when he needs to get that depth to take away, like you said, take away a passing lane from a tight end. And there was one instance in the second half where Kamu did not get that same drop, and Retzlaff was able to put the ball in there for a 16-yard gain to the tight end. So it's little things like that where that loss of that player who's doing that right, the young guy comes in, doesn't get it right, and you give up a 16-yard play in that instance. And we saw, obviously, some new faces that we hadn't seen. We hadn't really seen much of Demetrius Freeney. He had to come in and play for Takario Davis. Again, I didn't write his name down either way. I think he's in there about 20 plays. If I don't write your name down, that can be good. If I don't write your name down, that can be bad. He didn't do anything either way, bad or good, that kind of stood out to me during the time that he was in there. And Jack Luttrell also was a name that we had talked a lot about during the fall, and he had to come in there and play.
Yeah, they all got to step up. We lose, like with Jacob, with Manu, he's a downhill guy. He's coming. He reads fast and comes and gets in the hole, avoids contact. He's not getting a lot of contact. He's trying to avoid contact and get into the ball carrier. That's what we needed a lot on Saturday. Hopefully he's going to be back this week. So that'll shore up some things, and then also set the tone on the defense. All these guys have to step up and we lose a little bit of aggressiveness with those guys out, with Stooks and also with Gunner. So we got to have those guys step up with a little bit more aggressiveness, and I'm sure the coaches are going to be on them after watching the film and looking at, being in the alley, being ready to come up when you're the only one out there and you got to come up. You got to attack the ball, and we're going to see how the adjustments the coaches make. And this week's going to be a tough game. We're playing against a great passer that can really spin the ball in small little windows. So we're going to have to be really, really good on our technique and our assignments and our alignments.
Chatting with Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985, Wildcat Breakdown. He's our Arizona Insider, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, choose chill. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Glenn, the identity question came up again this week. It had come up after week 3 in the loss at Kansas State, and Brennan had said that he wasn't sure what the identity of his team was after week 3. He sounded a similar sentiment on Monday when he was asked the question, that he isn't still completely sure what the identity of this team is. A lot of people aren't happy with that answer because we're now 6 games into the season. Should he know the identity of this team after 6 games?
No, not really, man. I don't think so. I don't think. Ask all the other coaches that are new coaches and their teams and they're struggling. I mean, you got to find. He doesn't know what the team is really yet. I just don't. And people are always like, yeah, they got to know the identity. What do you mean they don't know it? It's a new coaching staff. It's new players. I mean, we have some players that came back, but it's a new coaching staff. They have to define themselves. You know what? They'll define themselves. We still got we got 6 more games left.
Yeah.
You know what? We got time. I think we can reel off some wins here. I think we have a very formidable schedule that we can use to get some wins. I think there's not a game on the schedule that I don't think we can win left. If we play like we can play. We can win. We can win out if we just put it together. Because that team that had on that first drive, on that game against BYU and the Kansas State game, and then all of a sudden it was just crazy. And then the knife comes out. We start cutting on ourselves. we just cut on ourselves. I'm telling you, it's a slow death, and that's what we got to do. We got to stop. We got to take the knife out of our hands and really try our best to not make mistakes. Cut down on the penalties. We had them way back in our territory. In their territory, they were way back on the 5 and the 4. We get an offside penalty that gives them some more room. We could have stopped them there. There's all kinds of little things that we're doing. They're just killing us. So if we can correct that kind of stuff, we can win some ball games.
Glenn, 300 alumni football players coming back this weekend. A lot of guys from your crowd going to be back in town Saturday?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I'm telling people just come on by, so we might not have no script. Okay? They're just going to come on by. I told them to come on by.
I could take this Saturday. I could take this Saturday off and just it could be a players' lounge for the entire 3 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be a players' lounge, bro. Because I just told the guys to come on by, man. Just come on by, and trying to get a hold of Brandon. So we can get some other guys, just to tell them to come on by. Brandon must be really busy because he ain't texted me back yet. So I don't know what's up with that. I was like, I go, bro, it's just this morning I sent you something. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets back to me so we can get some guys come by the show on Saturday.
All right, Glenn. We'll see you at the mall on Saturday morning.
All right, bear down.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Choose chill.
Let's give you your Desert Diamond Casino replay for today.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Talk about it, how difficult that finishing stretch would be on the back nine. Now, Polo for the win.
And Zach Polo victorious at the home of golf. While so many of the men struggled coming in, it was the opposite for Zach Polo. Getting the job done on the back nine. He is the individual champ of the St. Andrews Links Collegiate.
Arizona men's golfer Zach Polo winning the St. Andrews Link Collegiate. The men also taking the team title over Northwestern, Howard, and St. Andrews, the host school. Congratulations to Zach Polo, who talked about winning this prestigious event.
Feels great to win and feels great to be here with the team and enjoy this awesome experience. And, came down the stretch, got to get a few putts to go in, which was key for the victory.
It really was. You made something like 5 putts in a row that were pretty crucial. Did you know where you stood at that point in relation to the tournament?
Sort of. I mean, I was looking every now and then, but I was trying not to look too much. But I kind of knew I was in contention, didn't really know exactly where I was. So kind of just trying to put it as good together as I could on the back nine. So.
Now, we switched from individual into team tomorrow, and you guys get to play on the old course. What are some of the things you're most looking forward to for yourself and for your team for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, the chance to play the old course, it doesn't get much better than that. So, and Coach just told me today that it was we get to play all 18, so I didn't know that. So that'll be cool.
Again, congratulations to Zach Polo for winning the St. Andrews Link Collegiate.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
36 holes of stroke play Monday, Tuesday at the Jubilee course. Then again, you heard they'll play the final round tomorrow. Medal match play against Northwestern. That'll be at the historic old course at St. Andrews. You can watch that. Coverage will begin on Golf Channel at 6 a.m. Zach Polo getting the win on the individual side, and also Philip Jakubich finished second for the Arizona Wilds, tied for second. He was 2 shots off the pace behind his teammate, Zach Polo. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Lots of folks to thank for being a part of the show. I'd like to thank Jonathan Schaefer from the Tucson Roadrunners for joining us. Again, we will be out at the TCC tomorrow. We'll do the show in ahead of the gala event that the Roadrunners are going to have out there. Tickets are still available for the gala, so stop on out there and get those. I'd also like to thank Glenn Howell for his continued service to our program, Wildcat Breakdown, now running 15 years with your best in-depth coverage of Arizona football. Nice job today by Audio Bob, running the piloting the crew for the first time today. Take a bow there, Audio Bob. Take a bow. There you go. All right, Audio Bob. He'll be in the chair continuing going forward as well, so looking forward to more shows with him. For Audio Bob, for Cricket, great to have her back. For Dragon Ball, my name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, look
From the
at
O'Reilly
this.
Chevrolet
If you see
Traffic
us wrong-
Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported Speedway near Kolb on Speedway west of Kolb Road. We've got Broadway near Keno reported on Broadway near Keno Parkway, and also 5th and Columbus and 5th Street. And weather-wise, 94 tomorrow is the high, 88 is the high on Thursday. On Friday, 77 the high and a 50% chance of rain, and it is 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Ah.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion.